1996 season has been a struggle for the Houston Aeros, but they haven't lost their edge. Houston fought its way through last week's Eastern road trip to gain 2 wins, but they fell short of the playoffs. Now it's back home to the Summit, and they'll try to spoil the fun for the Phoenix Roadrunners. The action's next on Prime Sports. From the Summit in Houston, Texas, Prime Sports and the Houston Aeros present International Hockey League action. Tonight, the Aeros take on the Phoenix Roadrunners. A very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Summit. I'm Adam Gordon alongside Mike Greenlay. We get set for the Aeros and the Phoenix Roadrunners, the team that knocked the Aeros out of the first round of the playoffs last year. You might recall Jeff Chevalier scoring in overtime in the 4th game of the playoff series. So you might think the Aeros thinking about revenge, payback a little bit. Well, the Aeros can't really hurt too many other teams in the IHL right now. They might as well knock out the team and become a little bit of a spoiler to the one that knocked them out last year. You know, the Aeros, you'd be thinking they're not fighting for their playoff lives, but they have a guy coming in they want to take a good look at, and that's 20-year-old Jeff Johnstone. I think it's a smart move by Pete Dineen to bring in a young kid. He's from the Ontario Hockey League. He played for Niagara Falls, and we're going to see what he can do. He's supposed to be very good around the net and excellent on the power play. And I tell you what, it's good to see what this kid can do. It's his first game in the IHL, and hey, maybe a potential signee for next year. Of the 36 goals he scored, 27 were on the power play, and that led the OHL. And you talk about good power play guys, the Phoenix Roadrunners boast a pretty good one. Former Houston Aero defenseman Oleg Shargorodsky, who will play tonight. Oleg has 34 points this year. He is now officially a member of the Phoenix Roadrunners. You might recall he started the year with the Detroit Vipers and then was loaned to Phoenix, but now has officially been traded to the Phoenix Roadrunners Hockey Club. And that will take us to our Oshman's Game Plan. It's brought to you by Oshman Super Sports USA. Well, AAA is the theme tonight for the Oshman's Game Plan. First of all, attitude. Winning is an attitude. The Aeros are going to have that attitude from the second they step on the ice tonight. Second, altitude. In order to win, you have to be on a high. And right now, the Aeros don't have very much pressure on themselves, so they may as well go out there and have some fun. And third, aptitude. That means make the smart plays. In your own zone, in their zone, win those battles along the boards. It's the final week of the regular season for the Houston Aeros. It's the Aeros and the Roadrunners when we return. But first, we throw it to the Prime Sports Clubhouse. We'll be right back. Houston Aeros hockey on Prime Sports is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline. By your participating Texas Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. By Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment to healthcare. Together. By Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. By High-Low Auto Supply. For the lowest prices every day, what you need is High-Low. And by the Gatorade Company. If you're living life to the fullest, you're gonna get thirsty. That's why you need Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Life's a sport. Drink it up. Welcome back to the Summit. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay as we are set for the final week of the regular season, the Aeros and the Phoenix Roadrunners, and we'll take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Phoenix Roadrunners, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Up front, it'll be the line of Devin Edgerton, along with Chapman and Cowie defensively, and in goal, Frederic Beaubien, 21 years of age. He comes into tonight's game with a goals against average of 3.37 and 11, 8, and 7 mark. Looking at the starting lineups for the Houston Aeros, up front the line of Mike Yo, Vadim Slivchenko, and Igor Bashkatov. Defensively, Steve Jackson, Carl Valamont, and making his 11th straight start, Troy Gamble. 15, 24, and 5, a 3.80 goals against average. The referee tonight is Mike Lego, the linesman Fred Huddy and Frank Prestigiovanni, and Dave Tippett looking to try and eke his record back to 500. His record coming into tonight's game, 15, 17, and 5. He would need to win 2 of the 3 to make it at 500, but nothing like maybe a 3-game sweep this weekend to take him over the 500 mark. And as a matter of fact, we talked to Dave Tippett before the game, and he will join us in the first intermission. And we kind of look at the positive things. This has been a year full of so many negative things. We decided to look at the positive things and talk about positive. Robbie Laird has really turned this hockey club around, the Roadrunners, since the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's had a lot of help from one of his top lines, and tell you what, he's got his team going, and a good time to be going coming into the playoffs.
Off the draw, the Roadrunners have got it. It's pushed to the near side. Chapman out at center for Edgerton. Edgerton through center, dumped the puck into Aero territory. Back to play is Carl Valamont. He's watched by Edgerton. Flip the puck near side for Bobick. Mike Bobick couldn't control, and here come the Aeros out at center. Yo moves it out at center, bring it in across the line. It's dropped back. Yo cuts in, shoots, he scores! Mike Yo! Glove sign off Frederick Pompier, and the Aeros take a 1-0 lead.
Nice little play there on a little drop pass, and Mike Yo curls in behind and dumps one upstairs. I tell you what, Beaubien didn't even look like he saw that as it came over top of his shoulder. Just a good little shot, a snapshot over top of the glove. Bashkatov drops a puck, and the trailer on the play, the guy back checking, took the wrong player. Mike Yo was scot-free to take that shot, and he puts it right upstairs. A good job by Mike Yo, and he'll get his 14th goal of the season.
It took the Aeros 32 seconds, and they're on the board, leading 1-0. It is Oleg Shargoronsky back in his own end for Phoenix. Cleared it out at center, Maurice. Turned it back into the Phoenix zone, and Ruslan Batyrshin is there. Batyrshin cleared it back at center. It rolls back into Aero territory, and Miles O'Connor is there. O'Connor's pass to Maurice too far. Shargoronsky held it in. It came down along the left side, and Maurice gathers it in and brings it out at center. Maurice through the neutral zone, hits the line. Maurice cutting to his left, trying to cut in there, and Shargoronsky takes him to the boards. It's Batyrshin in behind the net, flipped the puck up the board, cleared to the line, not out. Here comes Maurice. He's belted by Batyrshin, and they battle for the puck, and it's controlled by the Aeros, and it's Johnstone. Jeff Johnstone on for his first shift. We touched upon him at the top of the broadcast. He's 20 years of age. It is a puck in the Phoenix zone. Shargoronsky is back, and it's turned away and brought out at center ice. Shargoronsky dumped it in. We'll go to the right side of Gamble, and he'll leave it for Miles O'Connor. O'Connor turning in his own end. Slides the puck to Donnelly. Out at center, and the Aeros dump it in. Phoenix goes back. It's Brian Chapman. He'll turn the pass for Cowie, and that's chipped out at center ice. And here come the Roadrunners. Loose puck at center ice, picked up by Sylvain Turgeon. He'll roll it ahead to Al Conroy. Conroy trying to shake off a check from Chapman. He's knocked off the puck. It's cleared out at center by Chevalier. And Houston back to control. We're 2 minutes into the first period. And Mike Yo has his 14th of the year, and he's got the Aeros a 1-0 lead as a whistle stops play.
Well, a good start by the Aeros. Mark Lamb out there right now with Turgeon trying to get things started. Mark Lamb, I tell you, he has really set some numbers up for the Aeros this year, and his 57 assists have surpassed Dave Tippett's 48 of last year, and he is only one multiple game shy of beating Mark Freer's record of 22 multiple point games. I tell you what, he is just shy of a lot of things, and he's really been one of the most consistent players for the Aeros this season.
Edgerton comes out with Mike Bobick and Craig Ferguson off the face-off. Roadrunners have it. And it's pushed back into the Aero end. Mike Yo is there to play it far side. Jakes lost the handle, trying to bat it out of the zone. Ferguson came in there, but it was pounded by Yo. He fell on the puck, and play whistle down. You know, an interesting story about the Phoenix Roadrunners, and I want you to keep an eye on their defense tonight. Defensively paired right now, you got Ardo Blomsten and Aki Berg, a couple of Finns. The other two defensive pairings that Robbie Laird has, he's got the Canadian tandem on the defense when you line up Brian Chapman and Rob Cowie, and then they got the Russian defensive tandem with Ruslan Batyrshin and Oleg Shargoronsky. So the melting pot.
Yeah, but it also leads to communication. I think that might be one big thing too, because especially on defense, communication is so big, and you're right, it is the melting pot on that defensive core.
And Mike Yo goes back to touch, and we're going to have our first penalty of the night. Mike Lego has a hooking minor. It is going to be to the Houston Aeros, and Carl Valamont's got the guilty look on his face, pleading his case, but he'll go to the box and sit in his space. He'll be 2 minutes up on the board, and the Aeros short-handed.
Let me ask you something, Adam. Ever have you seen a player plead his case and get the call rescinded?
Not really.
It just doesn't happen. Mike Lego makes the call hooking, and the Phoenix Roadrunners will have their first crack at the power play. And actually, they don't have a power play that's better than the Aeros even. They're 17th in the IHL at 15.6%. They have that defensive pairing out there you talked about earlier, except I think they've switched it up a little.
Well, on the power play, they've got Rob Cowie, who's got maybe the most incredible shot, next to maybe Chris Snell, who used to play on this team, and Ardo Blomsten, who can rip it. So you got two guys you have to respect on the line as Cowie drilled a shot, and boy, he let that one just smoke wide of the net. Picked up by Phoenix, lobbed it behind the cage, it's jammed away, and Lamb will move it up the boards and clear it down the ice. Cowie just got back from the LA Kings. He was up for a lot this year, but this is our first look at him because when the Aeros lost to him 5-2 in Phoenix a month or so ago, he was up with Los Angeles. Roadrunners bring the puck in. Puck comes to the line. Blomsten trying to chip one down, but the Aeros are there. It's Gord Donnelly. He'll crank one up the board that's out at center ice. Ardo Blomsten. Boy, remember that name last year in the playoffs. Just killed the Aeros on the power play. And really, even at even strength, he was unbelievable. But this year, he's dropped off a little bit. He's been battling some injuries and trying to get back into the group. But now that the playoffs are here, Robbie Laird's counting on him. Puck goes down into the Phoenix zone. It's rolled away to the near side for Rob Cowie, and he'll bring it up ice. Cowie's pass, trying to find Brent Grieve, and here is Chevalier. He'll roll it along the near side. Steve LaRouche wanting to get onto the ice, and now it'll be Mike Bobick that comes out. Chevalier rolls it back to the line. Chagarovsky, a shot hit the post, and the Aeros have got it. It's right back down the ice. Chagarovsky had Gamble beat, but it hit the post. It is Chagarovsky dumped the puck in. It'll bounce back to the near side for Devin Edgerton. Slipped it back to Aki Berger. He scores! Captain Conroy! It's 2-0 Houston, a short-handed goal.
I tell you what, this doesn't look like the same Phoenix team that beat Orlando 7-0 in Orlando's building last night, but the Aeros don't mind. They're taking advantage of it. A great job, as a little miscommunication on the point there, and I tell you what, Al Conroy just kicks in the jets and he fires it right down. He'll put this one 5-hole, and it's a short-handed goal. The Aeros have 11 this year, make that 12, and Conroy makes no doubt about it as he just drives to the net and jams one home, and Conroy has 24 now.
Puck is picked up by the Roadrunners, and it's out at center. It is right side. Craig Ferguson brought the puck in. Down after it, Ferguson's got it. Chipped it near side with 13 to go on the Phoenix power play as Valamont sits in the box. Battle for the puck in the near corner. Conroy roughing his man up in there. They get tied up, and the puck came back to the line. It's out at center ice.
A very physical game last night in Orlando for Phoenix, so they might be a little tired, Adam.
We can touch upon that later. They had a bench clearer there. Not a bench clear, but a 5-on-5, I should say. Here's Keith Redmond trying to center one. And it's chipped behind the net. Centered. Redmond cuts in. Here's the shot by Bilesma. And Gamble perhaps got a piece of it. It's Bashkatov trying to roll one ahead for Slivchenko. Jammed away by Jakes and cleared up the boards, and Yo cleared it to center. Redmond is back. Give to Cowie. Sweeps back, and Chapman is there. Rolled it right side for Bilesma. In across the line. Lost the puck, and Jakes will clear it. Slivchenko through the neutral zone. Trying to move it through Bilesma. That's knocked away. And the Aeros turn it around and shoot it into the Phoenix zone. We're 5 minutes into the first, and the Aeros have leaped out to a 2-0 lead. An even strength goal by Mike Yo, and a short-handed goal by Al Conroy as a shot came on, and Frederic Beaubien made the save. Shot out at neutral ice. Off the skate to Redmond. Valamont turns it around. Here comes Maurice busting over the line. Shoots, and that hit a skate. Cut near side Chevalier, and he'll turn it around. Give it to Redmond, who went through his skates, and now it is Rob Cowie. This guy can wheel. Cowie across the line, then just dumped it in. He'll come up for the line change. But turning in behind the net. Slides one near side. Aeros trying to clear it. Freer has it for Houston. And he'll slide it over to Graeme Townshend. Townshend placed it out at center. Lead pass. Freer knocked that down. And then he's tackled, and a penalty coming up to the Roadrunners. And we'll sort it out when we return. Timeout on the ice. 6 minutes gone in the first. It's 2-0. The Aeros lead it. We'll be back after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines.
Back at the Summit, the Aeros lead it 2-0, and to try to make it 3-0, a good play. Townshend just flips it up in the air, and Freer with some good hand-eye coordination pops it ahead of the defenseman Ardo Blomsten, and and he has to just take him out, and I think it's an interference call, and the Aeros on the power play.
And we'll look at the youngster and Jeff Johnstone on the power play. Puck comes to Conroy, shoots, blocked in front, and it's jumped on by the Roadrunners and cleared out at center. We touched upon the fact that Johnstone had 36 goals in the Ontario League for the Niagara Falls Thunder, but 27 of those were on the power play. The Aeros could use it. They're 15th in the power play this year. Now the Roadrunners trying to kill off this power play. Fourth best they are in the IHL is Lamb, moves it up and out at center. Mark Lamb, quick pass to Sylvain Turgeon. Out there with Johnstone and Conroy. Turgeon shook off a check, cut it behind the net. Chapman knocked it away. Pushed to the near boards. It's held in by Hurlbut. Cranked it down to Conroy. Conroy gives over to Sylvain Turgeon. Base of the right circle. Scooped it down. Johnstone pursues. Tipped it over to Conroy as Johnstone was belted. Here's a puck controlled by Al Conroy, who has a shorthanded goal in the game. Gives to Johnstone. Cuts in. Nice centering pass, but it just was a little too far for Lamb. Back to the line. It's Hurlbut. Pass is knocked away. Conroy got it back. Conroy sets up left side with 55 on the power play. Johnstone cuts in. Back to the line. Hurlbut. Rolled it right side. Lamb. Give it to Hurlbut. Back to Lamb. Takes the shot. They're playing the two-man game at the point as the Aeros set up. Hurlbut at big time. That may have hit Beaubien, and it's cleared down the ice, but I'll tell you what, that Johnstone doesn't look half bad.
Well, no, he doesn't, and he's very patient out there, which is good to see, because a lot of times when a kid comes up from a junior ranks like that, he'll panic a lot, but boy, he handled that puck well and almost set up a couple nice plays.
Well, he just missed Lamb by about half a foot. Puck came out in front, and Shagarodski will clear it out at center with 20 seconds to go on the Houston power play. Miles O'Connor will circle back in behind the net and set up the power play. Pass out to the right side. Here comes Freer. Mark Freer across the line with Graeme Townshend. Dumped it into the corner. Townshend digs it out. Slams it along the wall. It'll come back to the line for O'Connor. Now Jakes. And he had a pass tipped away by Bilesma. And the penalty is over. Teams are at 5-a-side. It is Slivchenko. Some good stick handling. Gives to Freer. Back over. Here's a shot by Jakes. Stick save made by Beaubien. In there is Aki Berg. He'll shoot the puck down the ice. This will be an icing call coming up to the Phoenix Roadrunners as the Aeros touch, and we take another timeout. It's the Aeros 2 and the Roadrunners no score. Back right after this.
Here in Texas, we got a 938-mile driveway, a few pump jacks, and a couple of head of cattle. Yep, you might consider Texas a 267,000 square mile ranch. And along those lines, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, voted best full-size sport utility by the Texas Auto Writers Association, would definitely have to be considered ranch dressing. Get the best full-size sport utility in Texas at your Texas Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Being different means taking risks, and that includes stepping back and deciding what's important.
Linda Laurel, News 2 Houston.
Bringing you stories that impact you and your family every day.
Medical breakthroughs right here in Houston.
Reporting that actually helps you one-on-one. And local stories that inspire as well as entertain. It's a new generation of news, and we're glad that more and more of you are discovering the difference.
Aeros have a 2-0 lead with 11:34 to go, and the Aeros just coming off their first power play. Not too shabby.
Yeah, they did move the puck around really well, and we actually graded it for you. And I tell you what, the puck movement was really good. The only problem on that power play is they didn't shoot it enough, didn't get enough shots, but they had continuous pressure, and they had showed great composure down low. And even at the point when they moved it around, we're giving them an overall execution of yes, because they did work it around really well. But next time, just concentrate on maybe getting some more pucks towards the net and maybe get a goal.
Trying to find that open lane to get a shot away. And again, I thought the 20-year-old Jeff Johnstone handled himself pretty well. I hope we get to see him again.
I don't think people realize the jump it is. I mean, I know he's played for 4 years, and he's more mature junior player, or coming out of junior, obviously. He's going to be 21 in September, but it is a jump to come to the IHL like that. So it's good to see him showing good composure out there.
Face off in the circle to the left side of Frederic Beaubien. And the Aeros have it. A shot by Donnelly knocked away. Chipped in behind Conroy, trying to sweep it to the near side. Chapman rolled it away. Chevalier cleared it out at center. Aeros turn it around. Here come the Phoenix Roadrunners. Rob Cowie steers one right side for Steve LaRouche. Centered one, but it was chipped wide. Now in there was Brent Reed, who was sent down on loan from the Chicago Blackhawks. He was playing with the Indianapolis Ice and was loaned out by the Blackhawks to Phoenix. Here's a shot by LaRouche that was tipped away. puck. Slides one to Conroy. Battle along the boards, and the Aeros come away with it. Mike Yo out at center. Yo with the goal tonight. Hits the line, dropped it back. Donnelly's right in. Shoots. That went wide. Rebound. It's jumped on by Lamb, but it's poked away. And right back out at center ice.
On the ice for the Phoenix Roadrunners, that shift was that terrific trio of a line, and we'll tell you about them in a second.
Puck is out at center, and the Roadrunners have it. It's shot in by Ruslan, but Pearson Campbell covers up. He'll hold on with 10.5 to go in the first. 2-0 Houston.
I'll tell you what, that line that was out there, they're not out there right now, but the line of Brent Grieve, Steve LaRouche, and Jeff Chevalier, I tell you what, they've accounted for 21 of the Roadrunners' 32 regulation time goals in the last 9 games. They've really lit it up, and I can tell you that's a line that the Aeros are going to have to watch tonight. They're not out there right now, but they just were, and they had a couple of good chances down in front.
Off the face-off, Aeros have got it. Here is Hurlbutt turning in behind the net. Fired one out at center, and the Aeros are back. Graeme Townshend, who had 2 goals against the Indianapolis Ice, but obviously was held off the scoreboard. It was an icing call coming up to the Aeros. He was held off the scoreboard against the Michigan K-Wings. The Aeros got blanked 5-0.
Well, Graeme Townshend has done a great job this year, and in positioning himself in front of that net. He's a big man, and I like to see him in front of the net, especially on that power play. And you'll see the graphic right there if you're enjoying the game on Prime Sports. He has 10 power play goals, leads the Aeros with that number, and I like to see him in front like that.
Tough man to move out, and he's really coming to his own this year with his 21 goals, surpassing his 19 mark last year. Puck is picked up by the Roadrunners. Dan Bilesma fired one ahead, missing Ken McCrae. Goes into the Aeros zone. Gamble worked it away to Krupke. Slides one back to the far side. It's chipped out at center by Townshend. No, it was held in by Bilesma. I didn't think he could get there. Now behind the net, Keith Redmond. He's pushed off the puck by Krupke. They battle in the corner. Krupke was spun off. Puck came out in front. Here's a chance. But Tierjan couldn't get a shot away, and the Aeros have got it. It's swept out at center for Maurice. Maurice dumped the puck in. After it, Townshend, Bilesma got there. Townshend on his case, but Shagaronski comes away with it. Give it to Devin Edgerton at center, and he'll turn one and fire it into the Aero end.
Last night, Edgerton scored from that distance in Orlando, almost from center. I know he was just dumping it in there, but hey, watch for him.
Puck is at neutral ice. Arno Blomstedt turns with a drive, stick save Gamble. Puck knocked away by O'Connor. Came to the near side. Aeros trying to clear, cannot do it. It came back down for Miles O'Connor. Turns it away for Houston, right side at center. Slivchenko was not there, and Phoenix takes over. It's Aki Berg. He'll fire a pass to the far side. Ferguson to Mike Bolbeck. Here comes Bolbeck at center. Mike Bolbeck across the line. Looks for the man to pass to Edgerton. Trying to get around O'Connor. Could not do it. Edgerton loosened it up in the near side. Battle for the puck. Sylvain Turgeon trying to poke it free. It came out Bolbeck. Center. Left side. Berg couldn't get there. He had to regroup. Lost the puck in the Aeros. Bringing up ice. A pass out at center. Slivchenko hits the line with Basketov. Slivchenko shoots. Went far side. Missed the net. Basketov turned it down, but Berg knocked it away. Came in behind the net, and Blomstedt is there to chip it away, and it'll come to the line, not out. Jakes held it in, shot it in to the Phoenix zone, far corner, but Aki Berg is there. Berg gallops to center ice, brings it across the line, but he lost the puck. That's 2 turnovers he's had there at the Aero blue line. This time the Aeros just shoot it down. Brent Grieve in his own end for Phoenix. A pass missing LaRouche. This will go down the ice. Icing. Valamon is there, and we take timeout. 8:03 to go in the first period. The Aeros leading this hockey game 2-0. We'll be right back after this.
Is a superstar spokesman what makes Oshman's Super Sports USA?
Dream on.
Oshman's is supersized and super fun. Why, you can play your favorite sport right in the store. Shoot hoops, hit golf balls, swing a bat or a racket, or get your kick to 100 other fun ways. Think there's a more super sports store than Oshman's Super Sports?
In your dreams.
The dream starts at Oshman's with 13 Houston area locations.
When you need an auto part, you don't need to search high and low.
I'd never been to an auto parts store before.
A friend said she'd save money doing it herself.
I never would have thought I'd change a headlight.
I told her it was a lot easier than it looked.
The high-low guy told me how, step by step.
Knew she could do it.
Knew I could do it.
She She could get a headlight anywhere. What she needed was high-low.
Aeros lead 2-0, and Jeff Johnstone picking up his third shift here. We'll see how he handles himself. And so far, not too bad.
Yeah, he's going to look pretty good. He's probably going to have to put on a few pounds just to throw around his weight a little bit eventually, but he can do that over the summer. Right now, he's just trying to get a feel for the game, and you'll see him getting more involved as the play goes on.
Puck in the corner in the Phoenix zone, and it slices up over the glass and out of play, and the face-off will remain in the Phoenix zone. While we mentioned Johnstone in the lineup, it's the Aeros scratches tonight. Sean O'Brien still with Tallahassee. His team doing outstanding there in the East Coast Hockey League playoffs. Kelly Hurt still bothered by the ankle, and Kevin Malgunas a scratch. Dave Tippett, very pleased with his start. Again, he joins us in the first intermission as we reflect back on a year that really wasn't, but we kind of look at it as the year that was in some areas.
Trying to pull all the positives he can out of the season.
Absolutely. It is Lamb along the boards, tied up by Chapman. Lamb has got it far side of the corner, trying to find Johnstone. Johnstone was there, slipped it down and behind the net. Phoenix pursues. First one there is Al Conroy. Conroy gives to Johnstone. They dig in the corner some more. Cowie's got Conroy tied up. Johnstone gives to Lamb. He's pushed by Chapman. Conroy digs it out. Now Conroy along the left wing boards. Threw it off skates, but it's picked up by Lamb. Center one. Conroy cuts in. Johnstone shoots! And he fired it just wide. He was thinking tinkling the cord there a little bit, and he just fired it wide. Out at center it is Chapman. And we've got a whistle and another penalty. This could be on Phoenix. Behind the play, a slash. And the Aeros are going to go back on the power play, and looks like it's going to be Steve LaRouche.
Well, Steve LaRouche is a goal scorer. I guess you could call him that. As he definitely does a lot of that for Phoenix, and he's going to get the penalty for slashing behind the play, as you said, and the Aeros will go back on the power play. I thought they moved the puck around really well, and you can just tell the way the Aeros are playing. They're playing very loose. They're working hard, and they're playing loose, and those two combinations really bode well for any team, and it has for the Aeros as they lead it 2-0.
You know, it was amazing. The Aeros were one of the top teams in the IHL. In fact, they were the top team last year in the IHL for shorthanded goals, tied with the San Diego Gulls. This year they've been giving up. They gave up a lot in the first half of the season, but I think that's another area they've done a terrific job in slowing down the amount given up.
They've given up 21 this year, which is 16th in the IHL. They've scored 12, one of them tonight.
Puck is controlled by Bashkatov. He'll bring it across the line. Trying to move it in. He was chapped in there by McRae, and it shot right back down the ice. 1:38 to go in the LaRouche minor. 6:48 to go in the first, and a 2-0 Aero lead. Miles O'Connor turning in behind the net. Starts the rush for Bashkatov, and the Aeros are up ice. Valamont turned it ahead. It was intercepted by Ferguson. He'll shoot it right back down the ice. Now it is Carl Valamont going back as the Aeros making changes on the fly. Carl Valamont. He'll move it up ice. The lead pass chipped away. Aeros having trouble getting it through the neutral zone. And Phoenix shot it away. Mark Freer turning it to center ice area. He'll bring it across the blue line. It'll go down. Shagarovsky is there for Phoenix, and you know this guy can carry the puck. Shagarovsky will shoot one out at center. And McRae hands it to Edgerton, and he will turn in on goal. Lost the puck, and the Aeros having all kinds of trouble just trying to get it into the zone.
Well, Phoenix does have the fourth best penalty kill in the league, and they're showing it right now.
Here's Townsend across the line. Slivchenko right in, a shot stopped by Beaubien, and he will hold on. So a man like Frederic Beaubien here, who hasn't been very muy bien, came up with a nice save there, and he'll hold on.
And for the Aeros, it shows a good individual effort by Slivchenko as he gets a good draw pass from Townsend, but really haven't been able to get anything put together here on this power play. And even the shot wasn't as hard a shot as Slivchenko could put on net. It wasn't the kind of shot that's going to beat a goaltender like Beaubien, who had the shutout last night, has given up 2 already this game. But I tell you what, the Aeros looking good in this first period.
They are looking muy bien on Beaubien.
Face off to the left side of Beaubien, and here is Dan Piles when it's cleared down the ice. Puck goes down, and there is Troy Gamble to stick it aside, and Lamb will turn it around. Here's Mark Freer, who'll turn it around up the right side for Slivchenko. Bring it across the blue line. Slivchenko trying to make the move. Quick shot, Snap wide. Power play is down to 10. Puck is jammed to the near side out at center. And fighting for it is Nicholas Vachon. And jumped on by Bilesma, but a penalty coming up to Hurlbut. And the Aeros are going to be shorthanded.
Well, it's an interference call, but it's kind of I think it's an unfortunate call for Hurlbut, as it looked like the stick got caught in Vachon's skate, and he actually might have even stepped on Hurlbut's stick. So he wipes out, and it looks like a call, or maybe, well, it's a little bit of a hook on Hurlbut, I guess. It appeared that, because from the angle that we're at, the bench was in our way, and I'll tell you what, he's guilty.
Well,
guilty as charged, but Vachon did goad him into it, that's for sure.
Well, Nick Vachon, if you follow hockey, the name very familiar to you. His father is Rogie Vachon of the Los Angeles Kings, former goaltender, so that automatically puts him in the heart of Mike Greenlay. You know what, you could be the worst guy in the world, but as long as you played some goal, you at least have Greener's respect, right?
Well, you're just part of the union.
Oh, don't even start that union stuff again. It's game 79 this year. Come on. Puck is controlled by Phoenix as they start their second power play of the night. And it's brought across the line, but there is Mike Yo to sweep it back at center. Aeros lead it by a score of 2-0. It is Oleg Shargorodsky who will bring it up ice. Shargorodsky, a pass, came to the right side for LaRouche, carried it across the line. LaRouche looks for the man to pass, back to the line. Blomstead turn, drives it down. It came out in front. The Roadrunners fighting for it. Chevalier spins away from Valamont, chipped behind the cage, and now they try to move it along the boards. It is Brent Grieve. Back to the line for Blomstead. It came to Grieve. It was off his skates, and the Aeros move it back out at center. Yo will just turn and shoot it right back down the ice. 4:20 to go in the period. 1:07 to go in the power play. 2-0 Houston leads it. First period from the Summit. Here come the Roadrunners. A pass out at center, knocked away by Freer. And Houston is back. Gord Donnelly fired it up the boards. It's right back to center ice. Rob Howie. Turned to the right side, now jumped on by Bobick. Across the line, Howie centered one. Gamble! He had a man crossing in front, along with one of the Aeros, and Troy Gamble looked like he might have been partially screened on it, but he makes a terrific save and holds on with 43 seconds to go on the Hurlbut penalty.
Well, it's his first tough save of the period as it's centered across the crease, and these are always tough because they're kind of a half shot as it's chipped up in the air, and Gamble, who's playing in his 50th game this season, beating his record of last year of 43, makes a good save as it's chipped up into his chest, and he covers up and freezes the play.
So a face-off will come to the left side of Troy Gamble, making his 11th straight start. We haven't really called his name tonight.
He hasn't had to really make too many saves. I'm curious to see exactly what the shots on goal are. I mean, he has to have made maybe 3 or 4 saves tonight.
That, like you said, the toughest, but really some routine saves tonight for Troy Gamble. On the other half, Frederic Beaubien has been tested. It is Chapman in his own end. Slides it out at center. Ferguson brings it across the line. Craig Ferguson belted by O'Connor, and the Aeros will shoot it right back down the ice. 3.5 to go in the first, and the Aeros lead it by a score of 2-0. Here's a pass at center. Brought in, Edgerton alone, shoots, he scores! Oh, what a goal by Devin Edgerton. Not only was it a great goal, but he had Gord Donnelly draped all over him like an old shawl, and he was able to shake it off and get a terrific goal by Gamble, who looks like he made the first save, but it's a power play goal for the Roadrunners, and they're on the board. It's 2-1 Houston.
Devin Edgerton, the leading scorer for the Phoenix Roadrunners, gets a great pass right on the line and just chopped by Donnelly, and he still seems to get it through Gamble as he slips his 33rd goal of the season into the net, but just a great effort by Edgerton. I tell you what, Donnelly all over him, did everything he could to get the Edgerton to lose that puck, but he didn't. He just lost it right into the net.
Well, he's a former teammate of yours. He started the year last year in Atlanta and then was traded midway to the Roadrunners for future consideration. They got Brian McReynolds, Atlanta did, but he has been a fantastic addition to the Roadrunner Hockey Club. So it's 2-1 Houston, and here comes Sylvain Turgeon. Big drive, he scores! What was Beaubien thinking there? He got the glove up, and it still went into the net. The Aeros come back and take a 3-1 lead.
I tell you what, we've seen Sylvain Turgeon score so many goals from far out this year, and I tell you, he does have a very good, very powerful shot. But I don't know. I keep asking myself what it is about the shot that keeps getting by goaltenders from that distance. I mean, goaltenders usually will stop a shot from inside the blue line like that, but he just winds up and blasts it. And you know, I think it's just a miscue by Beaubien, but I don't care which way you look at it. The Aeros come back and get a goal to get their 2-goal lead again, and Turgeon gets his 25th of the year.
Let's take a timeout. It's 3-1 Aeros, 3 minutes to go, and we'll be back right after this. Keith Redmond is in the box for the Roadrunners, and just after Sylvain Turgeon has scored his 25th of the year to give the Aeros a 3-1 lead, now the Aeros are going to go back to work on the power play.
Well, they're 1 for 2 so far tonight. Their first 0 for 2 on the power play tonight, excuse me, but their first power play looked really good. Their second one will look really bad. They really went from great to bad on their power plays, and hopefully they can find somewhere in the middle here and get a goal.
Conroy comes out with Turgeon, Johnstone, Lamb, and Hurlbut defensively. If you're Jeff Johnstone, you have to be not totally in awe, but at least somewhat pumped to be out there with a Mark Lamb and a Sylvain Turgeon that has a lot of NHL experience, and Al Conroy has seen his share of NHL games. So the 20-year-old Johnstone's got to be living the life here.
He's in good company, as they say.
There you go. Here's Mike Hurlbut in behind the net. He'll give it up to Lamb, and the Aeros will turn it around. Mark Lamb brings it up ice. Lamb through the neutral zone, passed over to Conroy. He directs it into the Phoenix zone. After it, McRae. He's got Johnstone on his case. Pushed to the near side. Biles cleared it to the line. It's right back out at center. Aeros did a good job to get it deep. They just couldn't get to the puck. There's Mark Lamb in his own end. 1:25 to go on the power play. Slides it to Conroy. Conroy dumped it in. Back is Shagarodsky. He's got Johnstone on his case. Puck cleared, not out. Lamb's right in. Look at the Red Sea part, but instead he'll circle it back to the line. Lamb to the line. Hurlbut a drive. And a blocker save made by Beaubien, and it'll go out of play as there's 2:10 to go in the period, 1:11 to go in the power play, and 3-1 Houston lead.
Just on the power play, they had trouble getting it down deep and keeping it in the zone. Like I said, the first power play, they were able to do it. The last two, they haven't really been able to get any consistent pressure down deep. Now that the puck's coming into the zone and going to be faced off down there, if they can win this draw, they might be able to move it around and jam one home.
Robbie Laird did a terrific job. He used to coach in Moncton in the American Hockey League, and then he came to Phoenix, and you might recall last year, as you can see for those of you watching on Prime Sports, they're having a problem with the rink boards, and I think they're just pulling off some tape that might be getting in the way. But Robbie Laird then came to the Phoenix Roadrunners, and last year he had a terrific squad, and I really thought they were going to go further in the playoffs than they really did. And this year they got off to just a horrible start. He said we'd win 7 games in a row, and then right after we'd lose 7 in a row. That's tough.
A streaky team.
Oh. Puck is in the Phoenix zone. Here's a chance for Freer left side. Sets up on the power play. Back to the line, Lamb. Give to Freer. Turned it down to the left side for Graeme Townshend. Hooked it back. Freer looks in front. He was belted by Cowie. Good shots by Cowie, and they're on Mark Freer. They came back to the near side. Cleared to the line, not out. Aeros held it in. Here's a chance. Slivchenko couldn't find the handle. Now Freer centered. Townsend's trying to sniff up a loose puck, but Devin Edgerton is there, and he'll shoot it off the boards. It came to the line. It's out at neutral ice. Miles O'Connor, he'll send it back to Mark Lamb at his own blue line. Power plays down to 35 seconds, and the Aeros have 1:33 to go in the period in a 3-1 lead. Lamb gives to Freer left side. He'll turn it back in behind the cage. Jumped on by O'Connor. Miles O'Connor. Give it to Slivchenko. Had it tipped away, and it's shot right back to center ice. O'Connor kind of rolling ahead to Slivchenko. The Roadrunners were there to push it away to go right back down the ice, and that should just about do it for the power play as Gamble's got it behind the net, and he'll kick a pass over to Miles O'Connor. Aeros bringing up ice. O'Connor's pass to Lamb. Slides it to Yo. Now the teams are back at 5 aside. Yo across the line. Slides one. Here's Conroy centered one. It was tipped away. Hurlbut trying to get in there. It came over to Yo. Bats one down Conroy. He's pushed on the play, and it's shot right back to center ice. It'll go all the way down into the Aero end, and Mike Hurlbut is back. This will be an icing call on the Roadrunners, and the face-off will come back into the Phoenix zone. Be sure to stay with us in the first intermission. We'll have stats and highlights for you, and a chat with that guy right there, Those of you watching on Prime Sports, head coach Dave Tippett, as we look back on the season a little bit. And you know, the big thing we touched upon, Greener, was how much a blur January 2nd was. Of course, that was the date that he replaced Terry Ruskowski, and you just kind of look back and you wonder anything you could do differently, and he reflects upon that. It was a tough time for him.
Well, yeah, it was a tough situation. He came in, I think he treated it as best he could, and I think he did a pretty good job.
Here's a shot by Gord Krupke, and Beaubien makes the save. Puck is in front. Conroy turning, can't get the shot away, and Brent Grieve takes it away for the Roadrunners. Slides it to center for Shagaronski, and Steve LaRouche is there. Fired it into the Aeros zone. Krupke slammed it away, and the Aeros bring it to neutral ice. Yeo into Phoenix territory. We're down to 15 seconds to play. 3-1 Houston. Here's Conroy, hash marks left side, gives to Yeo, shoots, and that was deflected away. Yeo again trying to fire one in there. That's knocked away by the Roadrunners, and right back out at center as Valimont can hustle back and play it. And there is the buzzer ending the first period. The Aeros lead it by a score of 3-1 after 20 minutes of play. When we return, we visit with Dave Tippett. 3-1 Aeros. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. First intermission between the Houston Aeros and the Phoenix Roadrunners, and I'm alongside the head coach of the Aeros, Dave Tippett. And obviously, with the Aeros not in the postseason dance, you know, we could spend a lot of time on the negative stuff, but I want to reflect a little bit on the positive. And there has been a lot of positive to talk about, and I want to talk about, since you've taken over January 2nd, what in your mind has been some of the up times for this hockey club?
Well, I think first of all, it was just the way the players responded to the change. More than anything, I think players, when there is a change, they do tend to pay attention to detail a lot more. So they responded well, and we got off to a pretty good start. And you know, we cut our goals against down. We did a lot of things that enabled us to win a few more hockey games. So I mean, all those things combined with some positives.
And I thought also when you came in, the power play had struggled before you'd come in, and then you turned that around as well.
Well, that's something where you know, we just tweaked the players a little bit and tried using a few different guys in different situations, and it came around for a while. I mean, all power plays have their little dry spells here or there, but for the most part, the special teams came around a little bit. We had a couple tough games that kind of hurt the percentages, but other than that, I'm happy for the most part with it.
You know, you go back to January 2nd, it's all a blur. You know, everything just happened so quickly. Now that you have a chance to reflect back on it, anything you would change, anything you do differently?
Well, obviously, you know, when you don't win enough games to get in the playoffs, you look back and it's hindsight is 20/20. There's always times when you look back and you say you should have played this guy then, or maybe a different goaltender then. But you know, you can't dwell on the past, and we've done some, like you say, some great positive things, and we'll hopefully those positives lead right into the summer, and we'll get some things done in the summer and come back with a very strong season next year.
I want to look at a couple of pleasant surprises for your skaters. First of all, defenseman Carl Valimont. I think that's the hugest surprise.
Oh, Val, you know, he's a guy that 2 months ago was playing a little bit of left wing. He was in and out of the lineup, and you know, he just responded. The more ice time he got, the better he played. And over the last month, I mean, he's been one of our top players, and he's a guy that you know, he just plays for the love of the game. He's not a big money maker, and he comes to work, not just in games, but every day he's there, and he's an intelligent guy hockey-wise. He's a pleasure to work with.
Well, you know, in this hockey team at the start of the year, the big question mark was offense, and wide away Pete Deneen brings in Mark Lamb, and he's played dividends every game.
Yeah, Mark is a real quality player, and he showed that in the NHL for years, and he's a great passer. You know, it shows how many assists he has this year. He's been our key to probably reviving our power play a little bit. He's so smart with the puck out there, and he does a lot of creative things that go unnoticed, I think, but when you watch the tapes, he's a pretty sneaky, good little passer.
Yeah, and I think if the average hockey fan were to just kind of look at the stats of team captain Al Conroy, they might be a little deceived about what he's accomplished for you this year.
Al has been like our inspirational leader all year, and believe me, it's been a tough year that way. When you have a person who cares as much as Al does, it's not just about you know, himself, but how the organization is looked upon, how every player is looked upon. He takes that leadership role with a great deal of pride, and he's gone through some tough times, I know, dealing as we all have, dealing with a season like this. But he's been probably the backbone on our team, and you know, I wouldn't have liked to see anybody else but Al in that position.
Absolutely, and we hope to see him back in that position for you next year, and we thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
That's head coach Dave Tippett here in the first intermission. When we return, we will have more from the Summit. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. Adam Gordon, Mike Grelay, a 3-1 hockey game. The Houston Aeros leading it. And tell you what, Greener, this is not a team that's out of the playoff run, is it?
Well, you know, and the thing is, everyone's looking and say, well, why didn't they do that this time? Why didn't they do that about a week ago? Well, the Aeros were doing that a week ago, and they're playing really well, but now added on top of that, they're playing very loose. They're playing with no pressure on them. They're just having fun playing hockey. And I tell you what, that it shows a lot what just having fun and playing hockey can do for you.
And you know, the other thing is, and I want to make this clear because the players have made it very clear to me, they're playing these next 3 games, not just for themselves, but they're playing it for the fans and for Dave Tippett. They want to see him succeed too.
Well, he's 2 games under 500. They have 3 games left. If they can win all 3 or win 2 and maybe lose one in a shootout, then Dave Tippett will have finished with a 500 record, and that'll look good in his stats too. So everyone you know, has to help himself out a bit, and I like to see, and I think Graeme Townshend said that in Kalamazoo, we want to see Dave Tippett with somewhat of a 500 record. There's nothing more we can do. Let's help him out.
Well, you talk about the Aeros looking good, and when you look at the highlights, it didn't take them long to get started. How about 28 seconds?
Yeah, and they come right out. Bashkatov will make a nice little drop pass to Mike Yeo, and Mike Yeo will just zip this upstairs, and Beaubien wasn't really sure what happened there. It just blew by him, but it's a good little play, and you know what makes this play happen is they did the drop pass at the top of the circles, not right up at the blue line. It gives Mike Yeo some time, and he finds the top shelf. 14th goal of the season, 32 seconds into the period from Bashkatov, and the Aeros lead it 1-0. And the Aeros weren't finished because they were killing off a power play, and Al Conroy will get his 24th of the season on a breakaway as he'll kick the Jets in and just rip one 5-hole, and Beaubien gets his stick off the ice just a little bit, but a good job by Al Conroy, who sees someone coming and decides to kick it into 5th gear and fire one home, and he'll jam it in to 4:01 into the game, and the Aeros lead it 2-0, and it was unassisted on the play. So then the power play goal by Devin Edgerton, a great pass. He gets it right at the blue line. Everything Donnelly can do except stop the goal, and the puck goes in the net. Devin Edgerton is their leading scorer, gets his 33rd goal of the season on a great pass right up the middle from Cowie. And actually, Beaubien, the goaltender, gets an assist on it too. So all of a sudden, it's a 2-1 game. But you know what? The Aeros have been doing a good job at this lately, and that is coming back after they've been scored on. And Turgeon just blasts one from outside, and Beaubien just blows this one. He lets it go right upstairs. It just drops to his knees in a situation where he doesn't really have to, but good job by Turgeon. His 25th of the season. He gets that one from Jakes. It's a 3-1 hockey game.
So the Houston Aeros looked outstanding in that first period and rewarded with a 3-1 lead, and I'm sure Dave Tippett will look to them to keep up the pressure, and we'll see how that goes in the second period. That is next. 3-1 Aeros. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Summit. A 3-1 hockey game, and we'll take a look at the first period stats, and they're brought to you by our local Texas Chrysler Plymouth dealers. The Aeros, how about shots on goal? Tell me that left wing lock isn't working. 11-4, the Aeros are out shooting the Phoenix Roadrunners. Roadrunners were 1 of 2 on the power play, but on their first power play, they did give up that short-handed goal to Al Conroy. Aeros 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Face-offs, the Aeros with 10, the Roadrunners 12. And the Roadrunners 3 penalties for 6 minutes. The Aeros 2 minors for 4 minutes. And we are ready for the start of second period. And our statistician Kimberly Johnson pointing out ice times. Mark Lamb and Al Conroy pretty even up in that period. Conroy with a few more seconds. 8:46 for Al Conroy. Mark Lamb with 8:20, and you'd expect nothing less from those guys.
Well, yeah, they're going to get some ice time, and got a goal on Al Conroy. Got a goal on one of his shifts there, and Dave Tippett will probably continue to play those guys that much, as I think they out of anybody have earned that ice time.
Here is Craig Ferguson in his own end, and the puck is out at center. Ferguson turned it right side. Blomsten. We start the period 5 aside. Blomsten fights for it. In there was Valamont. Blomsten came away with it. Turns in front. A centering pass. Too hard for anybody. And Slivchenko's out at center. Slivchenko through the neutral zone. Gives to Bashkatov. Dropped it back for Slivchenko, but he couldn't find the handle. And now Edgerton going in there with Slivchenko. They fight for the loose puck, and it finally came to center. It's shot in by Ferguson. Gamble, who faced 4 shots and stopped 3 of them in that first period, rolled the puck along the boards, and it is Slivchenko. He'll turn it out at center. A long lead pass for Yeo. Turns, shoots wide. Oh, that puck came right back and nearly hit Beaubien in behind, and probably could have gone into the net had it hit him. Back into the Aeros zone it goes. Miles O'Connor A pass up the middle for Lamb. Turns it to Conroy, and he will bring it across the blue line. Conroy pulled up right side and tried to fire it in there, but it's turned away by Steve LaRouche. LaRouche pass ahead for Cowie. Got it into the arrow end. And LaRouche comes in there, belted along the boards by Donnelly. Fished out by Brett Grieve. Centered by LaRouche. Back to the line. Brian Chapman shoots. Deflected away. Gord Donnelly picked one along the boards. Cowie held it in. It came back in front. Gamble knocked it down. Gord Donnelly was there. Miles O'Connor shot it out at center ice. Chapman had it tipped away by Lamb, trying to feather one ahead for Al Conroy. It came back into the Phoenix zone, and the Roadrunners have got it. At center, Chevalier lost the handle. It's turned away by Turgeon. Turgeon on his own end. Turned the puck over, but he did manage to sneak one out at center ice, and it's Chevalier. Turns with a drive. That was blocked by Donnelly. Now into the near side, the puck is cleared. Turgeon out at center, harassing with LaRouche. They get tied up a little bit. They continue to grapple. Now they look at each other a little bit, and the puck is back, and we get a whistle to halt play as the Roadrunners are offside, and the face-off will be brought at center with 2 minutes gone by in the second period, and the Aeros lead it by a score of 3-1.
You know what, Adam? Sometimes it doesn't take a really good shot on goal to score. I told you last night that Devin Edgerton for Phoenix scored from the red line. I was talking to him. He said, yeah, I dumped it in, and it just took a funny hop and found between the pads of the Orlando goaltender. Well, sometimes the Aeros can take this page out of the same book and just jam one in, as Mike Yeo just blasts one. It deflects off somebody, but it almost goes in the net as it jumps behind Beaubien. So I tell you what, a little fortunate on that play.
Alan Pester started that game last night, but gave up 4 goals and was pulled after that. Here's Townsend the other way. Center. The puck came wide, though, as Morty's trying to feather one in there. Jammed along the boards. Krupke right side. Turn to the shot block. Here's Townsend with a shot, and that might have been stopped by Beaubien. Out turn behind the net. Roll to the near side. Keith Redmond was there. And it's worked away as the Roadrunners will turn it around. It's Redmond out at center. Dumped the puck into the arrow end. And out of the net, it's Troy Gamble. Placed it along the boards. It'll come back to the line for Shargorodsky. A long shot. Stopped by Gamble. Picked up Biles, but centered. Gamble made a great save as Keith Redmond was sniffing around for a loose puck, and Troy Gamble had to be alert. And with 3 minutes just about gone in the second period, the Aeros managed to keep it at 3-1, their lead.
I'll tell you what, Gamble had to make some fancy footwork there in front as his stick was lifted, or he had made an original save and had to make a skate with his skate as the puck centered. And I believe it's Redmond who'll just chip it in as Gamble's trying to poke the puck, missed it. So all he has left to cover the puck up and make the save is his skate. And he turns it out, makes a save, then covers up, doing a good job. I tell you what, Gamble has stopped 208 of 231 shots over his last 7 games coming into tonight's game. That's a 90 save percentage. He hasn't had a lot of work tonight, only 5 saves, and probably in a little bit of a relief not to have to get a barrage of shots at you right off the bat.
It's Mike Bobek for Phoenix off the faceoff. Looped it down to Edgerton, tied up by Hurlbutt. In there was Bobek again. Bobek cutting in there. Slides it back to Aki Berg. Long shot stuck aside by Gamble. And Mike Gill will fire it off the boards. Could not clear it. Second effort is out at center ice. That was the big problem for Houston in the first period against Michigan. They just couldn't get the puck out of their end. Puck is down into the Phoenix zone. Turned away by Blomstead. In behind the net. He'll bring it from right to left. Pass up for Craig Ferguson. Slides one to neutral ice, and it's Bobek to Edgerton. Kicked it into the zone. Edgerton shaken by Jakes. That could have been a penalty. But Mike Legos says play on. Is back at center. Ardo Blomstead cranked it back into the arrow end, but that will fire its way up and out of play. And we take timeout. 3-1 Aeros back after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines.
Back at the Summit, the Aeros lead at 3-1 in the second period, and the Aeros get a bit of a break here as Devin Edgerton brings a puck over the line. Then Steve Jakes gets his stick wrapped in there, and a lot of times that would be a hooking call. It didn't look like a dive to me, and a good break for the Aeros as Jakes, speaking of penalties, just passed his 1,000 penalty career mark, and his IHL career is 1,007 minutes now.
Puck is shot into the Phoenix zone. Rob Cowie goes back. Flipped it near side. Jakes was pinching. Battle near side. Lamb's got it. Trying to move one in. It came out in front. Back to the line. Here's Valamont. Long shot. Stopped in front. Another drive. That's deflected away. And the Roadrunners turn it around. Brett Grieve let it go into the arrow end. And Valamont will hustle back and play. And we've got a whistle and a penalty. And this one will be on the Aeros for interference. And Phoenix will go right back on the power play, as this time I think Jake's got nabbed.
Well, and it's a good call too. It's a perfect call for obstruction interference, because Jake's just stepped in the way of Grieve as he broke down the wing. The last time he got away with it on Edgerton, but this time the puck wasn't anywhere near them as Grieve dumped the puck in, and Jakes gets in front of him. As I mentioned before, he has 1,007 penalty minutes in his IHL career, and now make that 1,009 as he sits in the box. And the Roadrunners will go on the power play and try and get their second power play goal of the game.
Dave Tippett looking on, and tell you what, I've never seen a guy go through so many notes in a game. Dave Tippett always writing and jotting little notes down, and then he transfers them into a master notebook that he's got after the game, and he can look back at any previous matchup and tell you certain occurrences happen at what time, and it's almost like he memorizes these things and knows at any time who he needs in a situation. Not too hard to figure out who you want out now. Conroy and Lamb out there to kill off the penalty. Edgerton left side, turns with a drive, deflected away, picked up by Bobick in behind the net. Mike Bobick sends one back to the line for Blomstead. Ardo Blomstead waiting, gives it down to Bobick, cutting down, looks for the cross-ice pass. Shargarotsky's in, he shoots! Gamble slid over and stacked the pads and made the save. And it's picked up by Conroy. Hoists the pass over to O'Connor, and Miles will just drift up the right side and crank it the length of the ice. That will bounce down to Beaubien. A little trouble with that one. And the puck rolled away by Shargarotsky out at center. Knocked away by Freer. Freer across the line. And it's picked up by Brent Grieve. And the Roadrunners turn it around. Blomsted's pass. Brought in across the line by Steve LaRouche. Now it's Devin Edgerton. He's got a minute to go on the power play. Give it to Blomstead. Cutting in, shot deflected away. He had Grieve right there in front. Shargarotsky will try it again, right point. Down for Grieve. Give it to LaRouche. Ooh! Tripped up behind the play, and he's slow to get up. Boy, Krupke got the knee in there and tripped up Steve LaRouche. Freer's in there, battling with Steve LaRouche. Chevalier was in there, and finally whistle stops playing. Not Jeff Chevalier, but Steve LaRouche was kind of looking at the referee, Mike Lego. He thought Krupke got a knee in there, but looked like a good hit.
He also thought that Mark Freer might have held the puck along the dasher a little too long, as he was just hammering away at it with his stick, and finally the referee blew the whistle as the puck comes behind the net, and boy, does he ever get hit, as looks like Krupke gets his feet and takes his feet right out from under him. So there's chance number one, but right after that, Mark Freer, the puck is flipped up on the glass and it stays on the dasher, and LaRouche jammed away at it. He might have thought that he was holding onto it too long.
Face off, back to the line. Cowie at drive. Gamble makes a blocker save. Conroy flipped it out to the line, and it's back at center ice. Conroy bring it across the line. Here's Conroy, shorted, hit the post. He had Beaubien beaten, looking for his second shorthanded goal of the game. Here is Phoenix Rob Cowie back in his own end, and it's turned away by Brent Grieve and shot out at center. And the Roadrunners bring it up. Cowie across the line, tees it up, shoots. Oh, that jumped up on Gamble as Cowie let that go from the ladies' tees, and that was stopped by Gamble in close. Cowie turns it around. Oh, Bob Cowie, you hate him just from the blue line to shoot the puck, but when you're that close, oh, that was a big drive. Conroy turns to the near side. Fired one over to Mike Maurice, and here come the Aeros out at center, but Brian Chapman is there. Chapman at his own blue line. Fired it ahead. Here comes Grieve, 2-on-1 for McCray. Great defensive play by Krupke, and the Aeros are up ice. Conroy at center, gently rolled it down into the Phoenix zone. Back is Shargarotsky, slides the pass to McCray. Now it's Bilesma. He'll dump the puck in. It went behind Gamble. Redmond trying to center it. Battled with Donnelly. It came out in front, and the Aeros have got it. Yo, a pass out at center for Basketov. Gives to Slivchenko. Ready to go. Slivchenko centered one, but it was tipped away by Shargarotsky. Former teammates in Shargarotsky and Slivchenko. Also very good friends battling it out along the boards there as they were coming in. Shargarotsky slides it the length of the ice. Will it be icing? Yes, as Jakes goes back, and we will take a timeout. 12:49 to go in the second period. It's the Aeros 3, the Roadrunners 1. Back right after this.
Back at the Summit, 3-1 score. The Aeros lead it, but Al Conroy tried to change that, trying to get his second shorthanded goal of the game. He just brings one off the outside of the goal post. I tell you what, it's a game of inches, and right there. But then down at the other end, Cowie comes up and blasts one up high on Gamble. Gamble really didn't see it until it hit him in the shoulder, and tell you what, that's smarts.
You would know. Here is Yell, left side.
They always like to hit me in the head with a puck. I don't know why.
Well, covered up all the goal area.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, you brought that one up. I'm sorry, Greener.
Stepped right into that one.
I'm really sorry. Here's Edgerton that had a pass knocked away by Valamont. Brings it across the line. Shoots. That's deflected away.
Valamont trying to send one. Slivchenko a drive. And that's tipped away. Edgerton turned in behind the net. And he'll set the rush up. Pass to the near side for Ruslan Batirshin. And it's right back at center and into the Aero end. Hustling back is Valamont. He'll turn it and move it around in behind it. He's belted though by that's actually Vachon that's in there. Vachon trying to dig it out. It's picked up by Slivchenko. He'll motor to center. Slivchenko barrels down center ice across the line. Tried to make a move. I think he fooled everybody. And not the Roadrunner defense. Tricked everybody. And the puck is right back out at center. And Vachon dumped it in, and the line change being made by the Roadrunners. Here come the Houston Aeros across the line. Here's a shot by Bashkatov right on. And Beaubien makes the save. It's turned away out at center ice for Chevalier. He's hauled down by Graeme Townshend. And back to center ice is Steve LaRouche. Out is Blomsten. A pass out of the reach of Brent Grieve. And the Aeros are back. Here come the Aeros. Gord Donnelly, a pass out at center for Townshend. He'll try to push it ahead. That's intercepted by Chevalier. And it's right into the Aero end. Donnelly back in behind the net. He'll feather a pass ahead. O'Connor a pass behind Freer, who had to go back and get it. Now he'll slide one ahead. Turgeon couldn't advance it. Loose at center. And the Aeros have got it. Graeme Townshend had it tipped away by Chevalier. And back are the Houston Aeros. Miles O'Connor cranked one along the boards for Graeme Townshend. Motor down at center. Tipped away by the runner defense. But here comes Turgeon down the right side. Bumped by Berg. Good hit there from Aki Berg on Sylvain Turgeon. Out at center. Here's a lead pass. And Brent Grieve's got a breakaway. Shoot! Gamble with the save! Oh my! Troy Gamble on Brent Grieve. And all Brent can do is Grieve on the bench after that as Gamble stoned him with a great save.
Tell you what, Gamble makes a good save is right, as it's a good pass. They really like to get in behind the defense and feed it up the middle. And he'll go 5-hole, but Gamble already down to make the save and covers up that 5-hole and keeps the score at 3-1. A good job. It's a second pass up the middle that the Phoenix Roadrunners have tried. The first one was to Edgerton, and Edgerton scored on the power play. This one to Grieve, but doesn't get it by that man, Troy Gamble, who's got 10 saves on the night.
And a face-off to Gamble's right. Ken McCrae, Keith Redmond, along with Danny Bilesma. Off the face-off. Aeros have got it. Hurlbut to Conroy. Returns it to Hurlbut. Through the neutral zone they come. Down is Rob Cowie, who'll motor in behind the net with 10-17 to go. Turn the puck over. And Conroy, he lost the puck. He had a great chance to stuff one in there, but he lost the handle. McCrae dumped it into the Aero zone. After it, Redmond instead. It'll come back to the line. McCrae, the drive, missed the net. And then Gamble was bumped by Redmond, but I think Maurice helped him. And the puck came out at center. Conroy steered it into the Phoenix zone, and Chapman takes over. Here's a pass for Redmond. He'll redirect it into the Houston zone, and Krupke will hustle back. Krupke is back, and that is an icing call on the Phoenix Roadrunners. 3-1. The Aeros lead it, and with the playoffs around the corner, here's how things stack up in the Eastern Conference. Orlando, Detroit, Cleveland, and Atlanta have clinched. Of course, the Aeros are out. And then in the Northern Division, Cincinnati will win the division and will win the conference most likely. I don't know if Orlando's going to be able to catch them. And then, in the way it would seed, if it ended today, Orlando would take on the Atlanta Knights. The Cleveland Lumberjacks would play Michigan. Cincinnati would face Fort Wayne, and the Detroit Vipers would take on the Indianapolis Ice. So that is how the Eastern Conference stacks up. There will be really no changes, and hopefully later tonight we'll get a look at the Western Conference and how Robbie Laird's Phoenix Roadrunners will stack up. Face off to the right side of Frederic Beaubien. And Here is Oleg Shargorodsky. He'll turn in behind the net. He's picked up by Krupke. Center one. That was ricocheted away, and Mike Bobek is there. And it's there, 10-on. Bobek again will bring it up ice. And the Aeros are back. Here down at center. This game has kind of come down to a grinding halt, but it's kind of been that way. There hasn't been a lot of scoring per se. You look at the 3 goals the Aeros scored. The first was just, I thought, very average goaltending by Frederic Beaubien. The Aeros only allowing 4 Phoenix shots compared to the 10 they put on Beaubien in the first period. Or actually, I say 11 shots. Puck is in the Aero end. Here's Krupke, steers one to the right side. Slivchenko lets it roll out at center. Ruslan Batirshin is out there. He'll fire it into the Aero zone, but it's turned away by Hurlbut. He'll bring it across the line. Hurlbut lost an edge. Down he went. And he might have been partially hooked on it. Crowd wanting a penalty, won't get the call. Here come the Roadrunners. Right side, a pass knocked away. And here comes Phoenix again across the line. Cutting in is Brent Grieve. A shot went wide of the net. With 8:43 to go in the second. 3-1 hockey game. Mike Bobek. Cross ice pass for Blomstead. He tried to steer one in there. And he hooked it just wide of the net. Blomstead down along for Grieve. Gives to LaRouche. LaRouche cuts in. He centered one. Here's the shot by Chevalier. Gamble stopped it. And there is Bashkatov to shoot at the length of the ice. And that will be icing it. As the Roadrunners go back, we take a timeout. 8:16 to go in the second period. It's 3-1. The Aeros lead it. We'll be right back.
Back at the Summit, the 3-1 score remains with 8:16 remaining in the second period, but almost changes as Chevalier gets a good pass from LaRouche right in the slot, and Gamble comes up with a great toe save, and the puck's cleared down the ice by Bashkatov for the icing. Faceoff will be to the left of Gamble, but a good job by the Aeros defensively. Goaltender makes a save, a rebound's cleared down the ice. I tell you what, that's good defense.
Lamb, Conroy, and Jeff Johnstone out for Houston now. Puck is won though by Phoenix. Center, Gamble thwarts that. Turned by Valamon as he tries to move it up the boards, and out at center is Johnstone. Gives to Conroy. Here come the Aeros. Lamb dropped it for Conroy as Johnstone cuts to the net. Turned in behind. Lamb back to Jakes. Shoots. Deflected away. Johnstone in behind the net. Left up there by McCray. Or make that Vachon. Here's a puck controlled though by Johnstone. Give it to Conroy. Cuts into the left circle. Shoots. Stopped by Beaubien. And it jumps right back out. And the Roadrunners are at center. Bilesma to Nick Vachon. Centered, but it was turned away by Johnstone. In behind that, the puck came out there, and Steve Jakes moves it up ice. Pass came to Lamb. 2-on-2 with Conroy. Conroy across the line, lost the puck. Vachon steered it away. It came back over to Blomstead, and the Roadrunners turn it around. 7:25 to go in the second. 3-1 Houston. Picked up by Rob Cowie across the line. Quick shot right on Campbell to save. Wrap around, they score! Ken McCray on a wraparound shot, beating Troy Gamble, and it's a 3-2 hockey game. Aeros lead is cut to 1.
Ken McCray gets his 11th goal of the season as he wraps the puck around the net. Gamble scrambling across the crease after he made one save. Can't make two as he makes a save down a sharp angle, but McCray does a good job to wrap it around and actually uses Gamble's stick as a ramp and propels it right up high into the net. From the reverse angle, a good shot by Cowie and a good job by McCray to get on that puck real quick and wrap it around and jam it in. It's a 1-goal hockey game.
Yeah, the Roadrunners have turned things around in the second period and have really tested the Aeros, and Houston hasn't mustered much on Frederic Beaubien, but a couple of chances. Puck is in the Phoenix zone. Beaubien knocked it down. He'll fire one along to the near side. Devin Edgerton is there. And it's scooped away. In behind the net, Brian Chapman fired one up the boards, held it. No, O'Connor couldn't hold it in. It's back at center, and O'Connor will regroup. Fired it into the Phoenix zone. Battle for the puck. Freer has it, trying to slice down the left side, but there is Crank Ferguson, the motor in behind the net. Ferguson gives it to Devin Edgerton. He'll romp to center. Edgerton across the line, trying to drop one back. Mike Bobek centered. Here's the chance in front. The shot went wide. And Gord Donnelly is there for Houston. Donnelly, a pass right side for Graeme Townshend. Steers one too far for Freer. Goes back. Here is O'Connor, and that's a 2-line pass. And the faceoff will come back into the Phoenix zone. And Mike Bobek is one of those guys who was acquired earlier in the year here, and he's done a tremendous job for Phoenix.
Yeah, he's a fourth-year pro. He originally was drafted by Washington in 1990 and has played most of his career with the Washington's minor league teams, one in Baltimore and then moved to Portland. of the American Hockey League, and now he's in the IHL with the Phoenix Roadrunners.
So a refreshing blast of water. He was the guy that I thought really was the difference in the 5-2 game in Phoenix when the Roadrunners defeated the Aeros. But tonight hasn't been much of a factor yet. Puck is out at center ice. Brent Grieve trying to get the puck into the Aero zone after Chevalier. He overskated the puck. In there, Turgeon fighting for it. Sylvain Turgeon had it knocked away. LaRouche trying to move it in there. Here's Al Conroy, spun away and moves it up for Turgeon. Turgeon through the neutral zone. Dumped it into Phoenix territory. Lamb trying to cut in. Fired it right side for Turgeon. Centered, Conroy's right in. Centered low, can't get that shot away. Aeros did everything right on that play except bury the puck. Oh, nearly had a great chance on Beaubien. In fact, I shouldn't say nearly. They did have a great chance on Beaubien. Puck is down, and Frederic Beaubien is out of the net, and he'll leave it back for Shargorodsky. Snapped one out at center for Grieve. Valamont hustled back to help out Krupke. Puck is in the arrow end, fighting for it, Chevalier, trying to dig it out of the corner. It came out in front, and Bashkatov rolled it away. Conroy out at center, gives to Igor Bashkatov across the line, shoots, that's blocked, and McCrae turns it around. He's got Bilesma behind the arrow defense, but Jake's hustled back. Now Bilesma, drive, and a stick save made by Gamble, rebound. Oh, a great chance by Redmond, and he fired it wide. Picked up by Houston. Jakes couldn't clear. Bashkatov will. That will sail back, though, into the Phoenix bench, and we take timeout. We've got 5 minutes to go into the second period. Our score, it's the Aeros 3 and the Roadrunners 2. We'll be right back.
It's a one-goal hockey game as the Roadrunners are closing it in and getting some better chances. A good hard shot here. The rebound, Keith Redmond gets a good shot, but Gamble, in a rare time tonight, has had to make 2 good saves in a row. The Aeros have been pretty good defensively thus far, and tonight the shots total are even. The Aeros really outshooting them in the Roadrunners in the first period, but I tell you what, the Roadrunners coming back hard in the second.
This hockey game has been like a Charles Dickens novel, A Tale of Two Periods. The Aeros had a great first, but a very rough start here in the second.
It's a tale of second periods for the Aeros. Typically, their slow period.
Puck is in the arrow end, and here is Jakes. Rolled away to center ice, and Aki Berg will go back. Berg in his own end. Launched a pass out at center. That was knocked down by Maurice. He was pushed down by Bilesma, and Blomsten trying to clear it. There was Graeme Townshend to try and thwart that, and it's right back out at center and into the arrow end. Karl Valamont gives the puck to Jakes. Rolled it back to Valamont, and the Aeros move it up the left side. A pass missing everybody, and this will be another icing call on the Aeros as it goes back, and Berg will touch, and the face-off will be brought back into Houston Aero territory. 4:14 to go in the second period. The Aeros leading it by a score of 3-2.
Well, we talked a lot about Gord Donnelly. I tell you what, he's been playing pretty good hockey, and he's one of the guys coming back next year. And as you see, if you're enjoying the game on Prime Sport, he's set a new club record with the Aeros with 324 penalty minutes. He's 5th in the IHL. And has done a good job. I tell you what, he must lead the league in block shots. He'll block them anywhere.
He has been a man that is willing to sacrifice his body at any time. I'll never forget that play in Chicago that nearly put his face on one. And he does it again. He'll do it again without any reservation. That's what you need from guys. Here is Slivchenko. He'll bring it across the line, and there is Yo, and that looked offside, but they say no. Puck is then shot in by Hill, and it bounced out of play with 4 minutes to go in the second period. 3-2 hockey game. Aeros lead it.
Well, like we said, it was a domination by the Aeros pretty much in that first period. And I tell you what, it's been switched right around as the goaltender for the Roadrunners hasn't really seen anything in this period, probably about 5 shots. And I tell you what, they were getting to him in the first period. You could see that. Last night, Beaubien made 44 saves in the shutout against Orlando, and tonight, and after the first period, he let in 3 goals after 11 shots, but has nothing let in nothing else the rest of the way here.
Phoenix brings it across the line. Puck is knocked away, and Slivchenko's got a chance if he can hustle up there, but he lost an edge. Crowd wants a penalty. I don't think so. It's brought back across the line. Chapman lost it, cleared out at center, and Bashkatov has to turn back toward his own end. Gives to Gord Donnelly. Donnelly's pass right onto the tape of Slivchenko. Hits the line. Slivchenko shoots. Beaubien the save. And it's cleared right back out at center. Krupke steers for O'Connor. Krupke will move it up the right side. And it's brought in by Lamb. That is offsides, and play is whistled down. Don't miss out on the Houston Aeros' last regular season home game. It's Fan Appreciation Day, presented by Texas Dodge Dealers. Every fan entering the Summit will receive a team poster. Prizes will be handed out throughout the entire game. You could be a lucky winner. So come see the Aeros battle out the Detroit Vipers this Sunday, April 14th at 6 o'clock. Tell you what, folks, that's going to be a lot of fun. I think the Summit's going to be pretty well close to sold out. Hopefully it will be. I really hope, and I know a little something that maybe people don't realize is that that's going to be dedicated to the fans. The players are going to have something to say to the fans, I think, after that game. And I think they're talking about an autograph session after the game. And I think you definitely need to come out and just cheer the Aeros on in their last game of the season. I hope you all come out. But if not, hey, we'll have the game for you on Prime Sports and on KPRC Radio. Here is Lamb across the line, steered for Conroy, trying to return it back for Lamb, and the puck is cleared back out at center. Here come the Roadrunners. Chevalier cuts in a pass, chipped away. Krupke trying to bat one out of there. And it is Conroy who will clear it right back at center. Lamb will bring it in. Mark Lamb pulls up right side. Great pass. Turgeon shoots. Oh, and a tough right pad save made by Beaubien. In behind the net. Trying to find it is Sylvain Turgeon. And it's cleared right back out at center ice. Here is Hurlbut that is back. He will touch, and icing is the call. 2.5 to go in the second period in a 3-2 hockey game. And Jeff Chevalier, we talked about him. This is a guy that is like a single-handed arrow killer. In fact, last year had the game winner to knock the Aeros out of the playoffs.
Well, yeah, he's really been lighting it up. He's on that line with Graeme and I believe it's Steve LaRouche. And they're really lighting it up. He himself has 21 points in his last 9 games, 9 goals, 12 assists. So really doing a great job and helping that Phoenix team route towards the playoffs. And I tell you what, it's a hot team in the playoffs that wins the Turner Cup.
Here's a shot by Townshend, stopped by Beaubien, and we've got a whistle. As
I think Mike Lego lost sight of the puck as Townshend was pushed into the goaltender, Beaubien. And so they just freeze the play, and we'll do it all over again.
Frederic Beaubien, 21 years of age, and he has settled down here in this second period after a very average first period.
First career shutout last night in the IHL against Orlando.
Not too shabby. I'd put that on the old resume. Here's a puck down low in the Phoenix zone, and Ruslan Batyrshin was there. Slides over to Shargorodsky, had it knocked away, but Oleg will try it again. Oleg cleared it to center for Ken McCrae. And here come the Roadrunners. Keith Redmond across the line, hit by Valamont. They fight for the loose puck in the corner. Bilesma was there. He sends one over. Turning is McCrae. Centered. A chance in front. Valamont had Redmond tied up. Puck came back to the near side. Loose for Bilesma. Bilesma watched by Freeman behind the net. We've got a penalty coming up to the Aeros. A delayed call. Puck shot in. Gamble saved. Big away at the rebound, and Gamble was there again. But a penalty coming up to the Aeros. It will be a tripping call. And with 1:50 to go in the second period, the Phoenix Roadrunners go right back on the power play.
Well, Mike Lego saw that in front of the net as they were dumped down, and the Aeros will have to do a good job of killing this one. They only lead it by 1 goal now, and it's getting tight here. They want to try and kill this one off as they go into the intermission, maybe get a rest, and by then there'll only be, if they kill it off till then, there'll only be 10 seconds remaining, and be able to kill that the rest of the way off.
Let's take a look at that call in the high-low rule book. Is tripping. It's when a player uses his stick, his arm, or his leg to cause an opponent to trip or fall, and Mr. Townshend did just that, and he is in the box. And the Aeros will be shorthanded. Power play on for Phoenix. They'll get most of it in the period where there's only 1:50, so they'll get all but 10 seconds in the period. Brent Grieve gives it down to Steve LaRouche. Base of the left circle. LaRouche sets up on the power play to Grieve. Brent Grieve cuts one in. A shot blocker save made by Gamble. Turned back to the near side. Grieve. As Donnelly has broken his stick, Mark Lamb will give it to him. Puck came back to the line. Cowie gives to LaRouche. Back to the line. Cowie looks for Blomstead. Instead tees it up, fakes the shot, rolls it down to LaRouche. Cross-ice pass here. A one-time shot by Blomstead, and Gamble makes a nice save through traffic. Picked up by Chevalier. Gives to Cowie. Winds, fakes the shot. Now lets it fly. Blocked by guess who? Gord Donnelly. A terrific block in front. He felt that one, though, and he will cover up and hold on to that. Who?
Well, you have to realize that a lot of players don't have the kind of protection that a goaltender has, obviously. And I'll tell you, he takes this one right in the midsection. It's a good hard snapshot by Cowie. He'll take it right up in the midsection and hold on to it, and saves Gamble from having to make a save in that situation. Freezes the puck.
Well, Gord Donnelly, we've talked about him, never fails to go down and make a big play, and that time he says, hey, Gams, you've done it all night. I'm going to help you out here a little bit.
Probably felt that one a little bit too as he went off the ice. And
sure, he feels them all. You know, shoulder pads are not really.
Well, it only covers you down to the basically the bottom of your rib cage. After that, your stomach is wide open until your pants come up and cover your kidneys and a bit in front, but not like the protection you need to get in front of a puck.
Exactly. You know, they're there to, if you want to take a hit along the boards, they help you out big time. But for taking a puck, especially a hard shot.
Last minute of play in the second period.
Here is Arno Blomstedt. He'll turn in behind the net. Blomsted's pass comes to Cowie. He'll motor out at center. Cowie shoots the puck into the arrow end. Gamble came out to slow. Turned one near side. Craig Ferguson was there. He's hit by Yo. Yo trying to move one near side. Pushed away by Bobak. Ferguson's gotten in there with Krupke. And they fight for the loose puck as we're down to 35 seconds to go in the period. Battle for the puck. Came to the line. Cowie to Blomstedt. A shot blocked by Hurlbut. And he will just turn and crank that the length of the ice. 25 seconds to go in the second. Rob Cowie is watched by Freer. Bobek is there. Rolled it behind the net. We're down to 15 seconds. 3-2 Houston. And with the final 10 seconds, it is Oleg Shagaransky. A pass out at center for Edgerton. Wrapped one right side for Bobek. 5 seconds left. Here's Shagaransky with a chance in front. The shot went just wide. And the horn will sound ending the period. Oh, that was close. That nearly tied things up, but the Aeros hold on for dear life. And after 2 periods of action, our score, it's the Aeros 3 and the Roadrunners 2. More action after this. Welcome back to the Summit. The Aeros holding on to a 3-2 lead here in the second period. And tell you, we talked about the difference of periods there. The Aeros allowing just 4 shots on goal in that first period, but things very different. I thought Phoenix came out and had a very inspired second period.
Yeah, well, I think Rob Laird said something to them in between periods. He said, look, the Aeros don't really have much to go for here. We do. This game means a lot for us. We got to go out there and take this second period. And I think they did. Just flip-flopped on many avenues, especially in the shots department, and they were able to come out with a goal.
So the Aeros, they have 10 seconds to worry about of a power play that remains to the Phoenix Roadrunners to start the third period, and then time to go back to work. And I thought Troy Gamble played a pretty strong period. You know, he had the 1 goal go in, it went off his stick, but other than that, he was terrific.
Yeah, well, he wasn't asked to make very many saves in the first period, but in that second period, he made a lot of saves, some of them even back-to-back saves where he had to make the save, get back up, and do a good job. So I'll tell you what, Gamble looking sharp again, and they're going to need him because it's a real tight game right now.
And the only one that went in off Troy Gamble was this one by Ken McRae.
Yeah, well, Ken McRae did a good job here. It's a good shot on goal, but McRae does the rest of the work because he'll jam it around the net and use I think it's either the defenseman's stick or Gamble's stick as a ramp up into the net, but he'll get it from Rob Cowie. Cowie will take the shot, Gamble make the save, have to go down, and the rest of the work, as I said, done by McRae. He'll get his 11th of the season, and a good job. But the Aeros had their chances too in that period, as I think a shorthanded again, it was Al Conroy with a good chance. He came down the slot, and he jams one in there, kind of fools Beaubien a little bit, and it goes off the post. So it is a game of inches, Adam, and he wasn't the only one who had to make any saves, and as Gamble made a couple, but I tell you what, Beaubien, who had a tough first period, really had a good second period and made a couple good saves. And Gamble, as I said, had to make a lot of back-to-back saves. This one, rebound comes right out and gets across and stops Redmond on that one. So Gamble, strong as well. Good to see good goaltending in that period.
Oh, and we have seen some good goaltending as of late from Troy Gamble. Again, the Michigan game, it's hard to fault Troy Gamble. He's making his 11th straight start tonight. The rumor has it is that Dave Tippett will probably go with Rob Dobson Saturday in Orlando. But if Gamble keeps playing like that, it'll be interesting to see who Dave Tippett really wants to throw into the nets against an Orlando team that got smashed last night 7-0, but quite frankly has had the Aeros number all season long.
Yeah, it's funny how some teams can beat other teams, especially a team like Orlando. You mentioned another team that has Orlando's number. It's Atlanta, and if the playoffs were to start today, Atlanta would have Orlando in the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, but hopefully the Aeros can get their only win against them next week.
All right, Aeros lead it by a score of 3-2. When we return, we'll have the period stats right after this. It's a 3-2 hockey game in favor of the Houston Aeros, and we promise you second period stats. Here they are. They're brought to you by our local Texas Jeep and Eagle dealers. After 2 periods, the Roadrunners now out shooting Houston 20-19 after the Aeros only allowed 4 shots from the Phoenix Roadrunners in that first period, so 16 in that second period for Phoenix. The Aeros 0 for 3 on the power play. Phoenix 1 of 3 on the man advantage. Face-offs 22-20 in favor of Phoenix. The Aeros 4 penalties for 8 minutes. The Roadrunners 3 penalties for 6 minutes, and the Aeros leading by a score of 3-2 in a period where it just seemed like they were kind of holding on a little bit. Mike Greenlay.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of, like I said, it was kind of flip-flop periods where you had the Aeros doing a great job in that first period, came out really strong, and I think it had to do a little bit with Phoenix not really being ready for them and not really expecting that kind of onslaught. But then in the second period, they were able to regroup and really get a good, strong period. So I look forward to a really good period by both teams here.
And let's update the fans then on our Columbia HCA scoring summary. Back in the first period, Mike Yeo got it started 32 seconds into the game. Igor Bashkatov getting the assist. Then Al Conroy shorthanded at 4:01 unassisted. The Aeros had a 2-0 lead. Devin Edgerton scored on a breakaway from goaltender Frederick Beaubien and Rob Cowie. It was a power play goal, 16:37 the time of the goal. But 18 seconds later, Sylvain Turgeon jammed in his 25th of the year from Steve Jakes, and the Aeros had a 3-1 lead after 1. Then the only goal of the second period belonged to Ken McCrae. It's kind of, as you said, used goaltender Troy Gamble's stick as a ramp. Rob Cowie got the only assist, and at 12:46 the game is 3-2. When we return, the third period is next. The Roadrunners will have 10 seconds to work on the power play. We'll have that right after this. Houston. The Houston Aeros leading by a score of 3-2. We are ready to start third period action, and fans, I want to let you know that Prime Sports wants to send a pair of fans to a different sporting event once a month for an entire year. You can enter the Southwest Airlines Year of Sports sweepstakes for your monthly sports vacation. Send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, and age to the address you see on your screen, which is 1800 West Loop South, Suite 1660, Houston, Texas, 77027. Now let me rephrase that. That's Suite 1680. Houston, Texas, 77027. And if you can do that, you'll be on your way. Fly Southwest Airlines, celebrating 25 years of love thanks to you. Winner gets 1 event per month, must be 21 years of age or older. And I'll tell you what, I'd be really excited to win it if maybe we could go to like a chess event. Looking at Al Conroy, team captain. You think he logged some ice? Yeah, we've got the ice times for you. Kimberly Johnson pointing out through 40 minutes. Al Conroy had 17.5 minutes of ice time. Mark Lamb trailing a little bit at 15:52, but both those guys, I'm sure now with the game on the line, you're going to see increased ice times big time as Dave Tippett will shorten the bench with about 3 to 5 minutes to go. And there's Mark Lamb, for those of you watching on Prime Sports. Tell you what, you look at Lamb and Conroy, and all I can think about is one of the top pairs in the IHL. And all I know is I really hope that Dave Tippett can work, or pardon me, Pete Dineen can work something out and get Mark Lamb signed. Pete Dineen is on the bench, and he's done a terrific job working with Dave Tippett this year. And he will be a busy man trying to get guys like Mark Lamb squared away for next year, and I hope they can do it.
I have a question for you, Adam. Who's going to take the assistant coaching jobs next year?
I'll tell you what, you know who has shown some interest is Carl Valamont. But Carl, I think, also still wants to play. So if you're Carl Valamont, you say, all right, let's see how things go. In fact, Carl had a really good statement. We were sitting in the airport waiting to go to Kalamazoo, and I talked to him about it. And he says, you know what, right now I'd love to be an assistant coach with Dave Tippett. I'd love nothing more. It'd be a thrill, a pleasure. And he says, you know what, by the time August rolls around, you got that yearning to put the skates on. It's when you lose that yearning, you know it's time to hang them up. And that was the difference. Carl thinks he's going to have the yearning in August. Dave Tippett knew in August he didn't want to play.
Yeah, that's the truth. So I think you might see Valamont back in the uniform, but you're right. He would make an excellent assistant coach.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I've talked to him so much, and I got to do color with him a couple of times last year. The guy really can break down a hockey game, and that's the help that Dave Tippett really can use on the bench as well. Here's a puck that's in the Houston zone. It's jumped on by Phoenix. The power play was only 10 seconds, so it's short-lived and it's over, and Lamb scampers out at center. Lamb across the line, and Turgeon's got a break. He shoots, he scores! Sylvain Turgeon! Again, do you believe it? 38 seconds to start the third, and the Aeros back up by 2. It's a 4-2 hockey game.
Well, Sylvain Turgeon gets his 26th of the year, second of the game, and he fires it 5-hole. I tell you what, when he really wants to, he can put that puck in the net, and definitely. And guess who he gets the assist from is Mark Lamb, and he jams this one home. It's in and out of the net so fast it could make your head spin as Turgeon gets the Aeros up by 2 again. It's 4-2 Aeros.
Off the draw, the Roadrunners have it out at center, and Biles speared it ahead, but it was knocked away by Freer. And here's Graeme Townshend, right in, shoots, and a save made by Beaubien. Townshend back to the line, O'Connor a drive, and Bilesma got in the way of that one. And here come the Roadrunners, a lead pass. Bilesma's right in on goal, and Donnelly gets over there to ride into town and thwart the rush. It'll go to the far side. It's centered, and Campbell will cover up and hold on. We're barely a minute into this one, and the Aeros once again need only a little over half a minute to get on the board to start a period, and they lead it 4-2.
Well, Graeme Townshend gets a good chance right after that to try and make it 5-2, but a good save by Beaubien on that one. I tell you what, the Aeros, when coming into a period, the third period leading, they're 16-1-2, and they help that stat out by coming out and getting a goal right away. The Roadrunners, when trailing after 2 periods, are 2-29-2. So there the stats at least support the Aeros. The Aeros, I'll tell you what, doing a good job right off the bat in this third period.
Off the draw, it is Chapman from the blue line. A drive wide, rebound came out in front, and the Aeros are there. Here comes Yo out at center. Mike Yo, a pass ahead for Slivchenko. It would have been offside that he got it through the defense, and the Roadrunners thwart that, and it'll go back into the Phoenix zone. Rob Cowie back behind the cage. He plays peekaboo with the Aero forecheckers. Cleared the puck up the wall. Jumped on by Cowie. Cleared the line on out. Here comes Slivchenko. Slivchenko right side, looks in front, wheels with a puck, deals, now looks for a man to pass to. Slivchenko trying to center to Basketoff. It came back to the line for Hurlbut. Steered it down for Slivchenko, but it took a hop, and Cowie is there. Played by Bobak. Mike Bobak out at center, ahead for Edgerton, dumped the puck in, and the Aeros hustle back. Hurlbut was there, knocked away by Ferguson. It came over to, came over to Basketoff, and it's out at center for Yo. Yo across the line, looks for a man to pass, but instead he gently rolled it in, and the Roadrunners turn it around as the Aeros in to make a quick line change. Conroy's out there with Lamb. Here come the Roadrunners. Pass too far. Turgeon is out there as well. Puck goes down. Brent Grieve is there. He's belted by Carl Valamont. Puck was centered, a shot, and that's deflected up over the glass and out of play. 2.5 gone by in the third period, and the Aeros lead it by a score of 4-2. And I want to remind everybody to stay with us on the radio portion on 950 KPRC on your way home, or if you're at home enjoying the game. We will have our second to last edition of the Aeros post-game call-in show. We'll let you call in tonight, and of course, coming up on Sunday, we'll let you do it, but the number you can call is 777-5772. And I might as well give the area code. The area code 713. We had a gal from Detroit who was watching us on Prime, and she called us. So we might as well let the area code out too. That was amazing. That clearly is our long distance award of the year. Yeah. Here's a shot that took wide of the net. Came back to the near side. Shagorovsky getting set. Long shot is blocked. LaRouche gathers it in. Right to center one. That's knocked away, and Lamb moves it up ice. Here come the Aeros out at center. Conroy down left side. Hits the line. Turns and shoots. Looking for 3, and Beaubien, the glove save. Jake's trying to turn one down, but Brent Grieve is there, and he will flip one the length and down into Aero territory, but Valamont brings it around. Valamont left side. Dumped the puck into the Phoenix zone. Beaubien slows behind the net for Arno Blomsten. His pass to center, nearly intercepted by Donnelly. It's jumped on by Phoenix. Across the line they come. Here is Brent Grieve. Gives the puck for Dan Bilesman, the team captain for Phoenix. Looped it down, a centering pass. Went wide. Back to the line for Oleg Shagorovsky. A wrist shot blocked. Never made it to Gamble. Yeah, you got it. Donnelly got in front of that one. Here's a puck along the boards, and it slices up over the glass and out of play. We take time out. It is 4-2. The Aeros lead it. We'll be right back. But first, this word from Southwest Airlines.
4-2 hockey game at the Summit. The Aeros lead it, and Mark Lamb shaken up on that play. He took something off the ankle or the knee as he went into the boards. It might have been a slash, or he might have got a knee up and behind his leg there that bent it the wrong way, but he limped off the ice, and hopefully he'll be okay, as no one wants to get an injury coming down to the last part of the season.
Off the draw, the Aeros have got it. Miles O'Connor will bring it around. O'Connor Watched by the Roadrunners. They set up in their forecheck. Pass is tipped away. And the Aeros able to get it to center. And there was Donnelly trying to move it ahead. It's tied up along the boards. Freer has it in skates. They battle for it, and finally a whistle will halt play with 16:20 to go. And while we've got a moment here, I want to recap on what's going to happen here for the Aeros. They will have a few more days off. They'll have tomorrow and Friday. Then an early morning flight to Orlando. They will play the Orlando Solar Bears in Orlando. And then it all ends Sunday for the Aeros as they take on the Detroit Vipers. And tickets are available. 629-3700 is the number to call. Please get your tickets, folks. There's not going to be many seats left as the Aeros bid a fond farewell to this season. But tell you what, every person I've talked to on this team just is really appreciative of the fan support this year. The shot is again blocked by Donnelly. Tell you what, Donnelly's got more blocks than the Aeros do goals.
And you know where that one got caught up in, Adam?
Did it get caught in his breezers?
It got caught up in his breezers. He'll go to the bench and fish that out. And I tell you what, he made a good play there as he actually gave the puck away himself as he kind of fanned on the pass. And, you know, he covers up for himself. That's all right. He covers up for himself, blocks a shot. And nothing doing on that play for the Phoenix Roadrunners. They trail it by 2, and they think they're going to try and pull out a little more than all stops here as they try and get this game. I mean, the Aeros obviously don't need the win, but the Phoenix Roadrunners definitely could use it.
Face off in the circle to the right side of Troy Gamble. Off the draw is Slivchenko. He'll cut in behind the net. And it's flipped away as Devin Edgerton trying to knock it away. We've got a whistle that halts action. We've got a penalty coming up, a holding minor. And I think the Phoenix Roadrunners are going to get the penalty here.
Well, Mike Lego called the holding minor on Bobick, who's arguing the call, obviously, and he'll go to the box. The Aeros will have another crack at the power play. They're 0 for 3 right now, and hopefully can get one going here. Right along the boards there as Mike Yeo tries to clear it out, and that looks like a little bit of a hold to me as he's dragged down on the play. And even though the Aeros get to the puck, Bobick will still get the holding minor.
So the Aeros, who lead at 4-2, go on the power play. They have not scored on the power play. And a face-off brought out at center ice. And the Phoenix Roadrunners win the draw. Rob Cowie back to his own blue line. He'll scoop one into the arrow end, and Troy Gamble will slow behind the cage, and it's Mark Lamb will move it away. Lamb gives it over to Conroy. Back to Lamb as the Aeros bring it out. Here comes Hurlbut across the line. Fire one ahead, Turgeon. Puck knocked away. It's cleared right back out at center ice. One of the Roadrunners shaken up. It's Nicholas Vachon that got clipped, I think, with a high stick, and I think the Aeros are going to get nailed for this.
Well, Turgeon's not even arguing. He's going straight to the box. I think it was an inadvertent play, but you know, Vachon wears that shield on his face, and that's one of the worst things. A lot of people think that they protect you, and they do, but sometimes they can be worse for you as the shield will have the stick get caught up underneath it and really do more damage than it helps.
We are talking about Nicholas Vachon, who's on the bench right now, and one thing about him that not many people know is he is a black belt in karate. I hope I've got the belt right, but I know he's very much into the martial arts, and this time he gets chopped down, but definitely I believe it is a black belt in karate, and he's had that for a while. Gritty center iceman, get you the big face-off, get you the big play.
I think he actually started a little bit in Atlanta. I was there. I was there when he got called up and played a few games in Atlanta, and I believe I'm not sure whether he got a couple in Las Vegas as well, but ended up in Phoenix, and he's kind of made a home there.
Here is Al Conroy, brings it across the line. Conroy drills a shot, and he spanked that just wide of the net. It's picked up by Phoenix. We'll go 4-on-4 for a minute 15, and then the Roadrunners will get a small little power play. Puck is in the arrow end. Donnelly in behind the cage. Flip one along the boards. It'll come back to the line, and Ruslan Batirshin is there. He'll roll one over to the fireboards, and here come the Phoenix Roadrunners. Devin Edgerton. Edgerton trying to move one up ice. Slivchenko into forecheck. Sharnarodsky moves it up the right side. Oleg down right wing, trying to move it in. He's belted by O'Connor, and Gord Donnelly is there. Donnelly gives it over to Miles O'Connor. Quick pass to center, jumped on by Bashkatov, cutting right in, centered for Slivchenko, but there was Arnold Blomsten, and knockaway. Slivchenko takes it right back. He shoots. Oh, what a save by Frederick Beaubien. He
was definitely muy bien there, and the puck will go wide. Oh, Frederic Beaubien stoning Slivchenko, and here come the Roadrunners. In his LaRouche, right in his Chevalier. He will shoot, and Gamble will answer with a save. Holy smokes, the goaltenders are standing on their lips tonight, especially right here in the latter stages of the game. 6 minutes into the third, and a goaltending clinic by Frederic Beaubien and Troy Gamble on how to play close in chances, and the score remains 4-2.
Both almost identical saves too, as the goaltenders had to dive across the crease and extend their paddles of their sticks. Down here, Chevalier gets out, and Gamble with the paddle of his stick will make the save, and you know, right at the other end, before that, Slivchenko steals one, and almost identical, except on the other side of the net, a same kind of save. And yeah, you're right, it's a clinic on goaltending, but just on one type of save there, as they both make a good one. And Gamble, who has 20 saves tonight, holding his team in there, trying to get another win under his belt.
Frederic Beaubien, who was shaky in the first, settled down in this game and made a terrific save. All Slivchenko has to do is get it up. Evidently, he wanted to tuck it in under his arm or something like that, and couldn't do it. Face-off is in the circle to the left side of Frederic Beaubien. Mark Freer against Devin Edgerton, or check that, that's Ferguson, Craig Ferguson out there. Off the face-off, Aeros have got it. Krupke, right side hurlbutt. Lets the shot go. That never made it to Beaubien. Another shot went wide. Here's Freer, steered one in there with a bouncing puck that cut to the left side, and Cowie lobs it over to Devin Edgerton. He's tied up by Freer. Puck picked up. Here's Yo. The shot and a glove save is made by Beaubien, and he'll hold on.
Good save by Beaubien as he picks the puck out of the air, and Mike Yo beat him over the glove earlier this game. It was the first goal of the game 32 seconds into it, and Mike Yo, this time from the other side of the ice, goes to the same spot where he beat him before, but this time Beaubien says, I got him. And I tell you what, Mike Yo is a good player for the Aeros, has doubled his goal output from last year, and it's going to be interesting. He's a free agent this summer, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens to him as far as what team he goes to, because he's a valuable type of player, one that every team needs, and you never know, maybe even a small bidding war for him.
Puck is shot in by the Roadrunners. Jumped on by Houston, trying to move it along the boards. Here's a pass picked up by Biles, but came back. A shot slammed just wide by Blomsten. Chipped away by O'Connor. Actually, that's Hurlbutt in the corner there. Couldn't see the number. Here's McRae turning with a drive, and that was deflected away from Gamble. Krupke smacked it along the boards. Held in by Chapman. Ryan Chapman left side. Chipped it down for Krupke. And it'll come back to the line. Held in. Chapman another drive, and Gamble got there and made a save. Oh, a tough save there through about 2 or 3 guys. Now the puck came out and got another chance, and Chapman hooked it wide. Chapman again. Stuff shot. Right in. Gamble with a left pad save, and a beauty. Oh, Troy Gamble, and a holding penalty coming up to the Houston Aeros, but not before. Troy Gamble makes a terrific save, and we'll go to timeout. 4-2, the Aeros lead it. We'll be right back.
The Aeros lead it 4-2 at the Summit, 12:47 remaining, and the Phoenix Roadrunners will have a chance to catch it a little closer here, as Mike Hurlbutt will get all over Dan Bilesma of the Phoenix Roadrunners, and Hurlbutt will go right to the box for holding. Give the Phoenix Roadrunners a chance to close it within 1 again.
Face off to the left side of Troy Gamble. And it's picked up by the Roadrunners off the draw. Shargorodsky getting set on the power play. Roadrunners trying to turn one down. Here's a puck in behind the net. Picked up by Grieve. Sets up on the man advantage. Playing peekaboo behind the net. He'll come out to the right side. Grieve scooped it down. Wrap around Chevalier. Gamble kicked it out of there. And it'll go right back down the ice. Shargorodsky hustles back to play it, and he'll turn in behind the net with 12:18 to play. 1.5 to go in the Hurlbutt penalty. Here comes Brent Grieve. He'll motor right side at center. Bring it across the line. Here's Cowie. Cutting in. Shoots. Gamble the save. Rebound. It's picked up by Grieve. Back to the line, Shargorodsky looks for the lane, gives to Cowie. Back to Shargorodsky, slice the pass down. Here's the shot right on, Gamble save, Reed. Here's Shargorodsky, another shot, and it was chipped away by Donnelly. Brent Grieve on the boards, getting set on the power play. Looped it for Chevalier. He's cross-checked down, and the Aeros are able to clear it down the ice with a minute to go on the power play. 11:44 to go in the third, and a 4-2 Aero lead. Puck is shot into the Aero end. LaRouche goes in there. He's belted by Yo. It came back to the line. Here's the chance for Shargorodsky. Chipped it down for Steve LaRouche. Give the Chevalier behind the net. Roll it to LaRouche. Base of the left circle. Tied up by Valamont. Getting set. And it's cleared by the Aeros. It'll go down the ice. Kyle Valamont having another terrific hockey game tonight. Back into the Phoenix zone it goes. 11:15 to play in the third. It is Valamont. Cranks it into the Phoenix zone. Beaubien comes out. He was slow. Beaubien having trouble with it. And here come the Phoenix Roadrunners. Center ice. Craig Ferguson through the neutral zone. Hits the line. Drifts back to the left side and dumped it in. Edgerton gathers in the puck in the corner. Looks in front. We're down to the final 11 minutes of the third period. Aeros with a 2-blot lead. Ferguson over to Edgerton. Comes back to the line for Blomstead. Getting set on the power play, which is now overtaken by the side. Edgerton gets set right point. Lets the shot go. It made it to Campbell. He will make the save and he will hold on. So Troy Gamble again through traffic makes a save and he will hold on to the puck.
Well, that one came right through the screen, you're right, and he had not one but two players in front of him as Edgerton just finally said, I've had enough of this, and just blasts one, and Gamble alertly grabs that one through the crowd and makes a glove save. Here you have a good angle from the goaltender's point of view if you're watching on Prime Sports. Right through there, there's not much to see, but Gamble alertly picks it up and keeps the score at 4-2. The Aeros have killed off their 5th power play of the game. The Phoenix Roadrunners are 1 for 6 now. And the Aeros doing a good job in many departments. Trying to hold on to this one with 10:41 remaining in the third period.
Off the draw. The Aeros have got it. Here's Jakes, a pass ahead for Maurice. He'll chase it down. Maurice trying to center one. Freer's got it. Freer centered. Townsend with a chance, but it was knocked away. And Bilesma were working ahead. It's back into the Aero end. In there's Redmond. Gives to Bilesma. Centered. Gamble got a piece of that one. In there, Redmond fighting for it, and Gamble was pushed behind the net, and he will hold on. We've got 10:16 to go in the third, and the Aeros lead by a score of 4-2. We looked at the Eastern Conference in the second period. Let's take a look at the West. And Las Vegas is going to win everything. I don't think Cincinnati is going to catch him, nor will Orlando. Utah is in. Now we just wait and see if San Francisco, Phoenix, and LA, they kind of wait. And then you look at the Midwest, and Minnesota will not make the playoffs this year for the second straight year. And as if things were to end today, Kansas City would take on Milwaukee, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Utah, Phoenix. The game I'm interested with tonight is Kansas City against Peoria, because the Kansas City Blades, one of the hottest teams in the IHL. Here's Chapman with a shot right on. Campbell makes the save, and Turgeon will roll it away back out at center.
You know, I think I talked to some of the Phoenix guys before, and they would rather finish 7th than 6th, because then they'll get Milwaukee rather than Utah or Las Vegas. And Milwaukee probably an easier team to beat than both Utah and Las Vegas, although they're not easy to beat, just easier to beat.
Yeah, I think they'd have an easier time with Milwaukee than they would the Utah Grizzlies, the defending Turner Cup champions. They're right on pace from last year. Here's Turgeon in alone, he shoots, and Beaubien is there again, and the puck is cleared. So Frederick Beaubien preventing Turgeon from notching 3 tonight. Puck is back into the Phoenix zone. Cowie moves it out at center through Lamb. He'll drill one in there. That was smacked wide of the net. Steve LaRouche right side. Gives to Brent Grieve, trying to cut it on goal. That's knocked away, and the Aeros have it out at center. And the Aeros have it 2-on-2. Now 3-on-2 as Donnelly joins the rush. Here is Lamb to Donnelly. Shoots! And a save made by Beaubien. It's picked up by Phoenix and steered out at center, and Miles O'Connor turns it around, gives to Slivchenko. Slivchenko down right wing, trying to get around Batyrshin, cannot do it. He tried to kick it to Yeo, but Mike Bolback is there, and here come the Roadrunners. Right side, it's Devin Edgerton, hits the line, getting set, centered one, but it was tipped away by Bashkatov, and he'll motor out at center. Ooh, Bashkatov has spun off the puck, but now it's O'Connor, but Slivchenko is offsides, and then O'Connor cranked one right after the whistle there, but We will take timeout. 8:44 to go in this one. It's the Aeros 4 and the Roadrunners 2. Aeros lead at 4-2, and a moment ago, Sylvain Turgeon. This is what you call ands, ifs, and buts right here.
Right end, and the butt end is what makes a save. Turgeon going for his third goal, and he, just off the butt end of Beaubien's stick. I tell you what, it doesn't matter how you stop it at him, it's how many. And Beaubien makes a save there. Unfortunately for Turgeon, he'll have to try again for his third of the game.
You were saying in the break that you made a few in your time, and you always said, hey, those were planned. We never just accidentally got our butt in. That's how we plan it. We got the stick save, and then we got the butt end save. You were always a flashy goaltender, weren't you? Yeah. That's right. Drive for show, putt for dough. Remember that. Here's the puck out at center ice. And the Roadrunners are back. I can't give you grief. Every time I give you grief, I get blinded by your Turner Cup rig, so I shouldn't be giving you all this grief, Greener. Here's the puck. It's picked up by Phoenix in their own end, and Oleg Shagorodsky steers it over to Ruslan Batyrshin. Gives to Ferguson. It came out at center, and Devin Edgerton out at center with Bobak. Hits the line. It's dropped back. Bobak getting set. He tried to center one, but it was intercepted by Carl Valamont, and it's right back out at center. Batyrshin, cross-ice pass over to Shagorodsky with under 8 minutes to go in the third. A 4-2 hockey game. Edgerton, he is belted by Johnstone, and Bashkatov dumped it in. Johnstone pursues as Shagorodsky is in behind the net. We haven't seen much of Johnstone since the first period. He saw a lot of ice in the first, but not much in the second or third. In fact, if I recall, this might be only his second shift of the third period. Puck is picked up by Troy Gamble, lobs one over to Maurice, trying to get it out of the zone. Maurice will try it again over to Freer. It's chipped back to the line. Biles worked it down. Here is Redmond, can't get the shot away, and the Aeros able to bank it out at center ice. Chapman gives Freer a bit of a bump along the boards. It's intercepted by Redmond, brought across the line, but Gord Krupke is there, and he'll smack it right back out at center with 7:08 to go. And the Aeros lead it 4-2. Aeros have lost just one game when leading after 2 periods. They have 2 shootout losses to go with that, though. Here's the Blomsten, a shot blocked, a chance for Chapman, stuffed it in there. Here's the chance, and it's picked away by Maurice. He'll move it out with Johnstone. Across the line, Maurice, he lost the puck as Blomsten poke-checked it, and it's cleared by Brent Grieve. Over to Blomsten. He's harassed by Lamb. Turned around by Arno Blomsten. Give it to Grieve across the line. Grieve cutting in, winding, shooting. That was deflected. It may have hit Gamble, and the Aeros have it. Oh, Lamb lost it. Biles was centered, but O'Connor got over there and made a nice play. Here come the Aeros 4-on-2. Across the line, it's Lamb. A pass. Turgeon shoots. Oh, and that was deflected, I think, by Cowie. Right side, Gord Donnelly. Cuts in center. Oh, Lamb nearly redirected one in on Beaubien. Lamb behind the net. He's got Turgeon in there, trying to find him. Waiting. Looks in front. Step shot by Turgeon, blocked by Beaubien. Here's Lamb again. Sets it up over to Sylvain Turgeon. Behind the net. Gives to Lamb. Centered for Conroy. That's chipped away by Beaubien. It's to the line, not out. Donnelly held it in, but it's intercepted by Cowie. And here come the Roadrunners. Out at center across the line. It is Chevalier. Cuts in, looks for Cowie. Can't find him. Puck by the net. Wrap around. That went wide. Cowie just had it roll off the end of his stick. A long drive. And that is hooked wide of the net. And the puck is cleared to the line and out at center. Rob Cowie at neutral ice. He'll bring a pass over to Brian Chapman. Trying to sidestep one of his own guys. Now Chapman shoots right out. Gamble save, rebound. Oh, that went just wide as LaRouche was sniffing around for a loose puck. Chevalier pursued. Donnelly clangs it along the boards. They battle in the corner. Chevalier's in there. They continue to scram for the puck. And finally, it came behind the net. Here's a quick shot by Ferguson. Block Gamble. Rebound in front. And then it was hooked away by Valamon and right back out at center. 5 minutes to go in this one. Aeros lead it by a score of 4-2. Brian Chapman at center. Gives it back to Ruslan Batyrshin. Cleared it into the Aeros zone. Hustling back is Jenks. He'll turn it around the near side. Steve Jenks. Pass snap too far for Bashkatov. We will have an icing call. As back to play it is Shagorodsky. We take a timeout. 4:48 to go in this one. It's the Aeros 4, the Roadrunners 2. Right back after this.
By the looks of it, it could be a whole new car company. It's one of the most successful car companies anywhere. It has the most innovative minivans in the world. The friendliest cars on the planet and some of the most fun that ever prowled the streets. Plymouth. It's not just a new line of cars, but a whole new line of thinking. From Plymouth Place, our mobile information centers and showroom, to an internet showroom in your own home. Plymouth is one clever idea after another. After another, after another.
An infield fly is a fair flyer ball, not including a line drive.
When the Rockets were in the finals, Elise called the NBA, really complaining about the officiating. Now she's studying the baseball rule book.
Occupied before 2 are out. The pitcher, catcher.
If I were an umpire, I'd think twice before making a call against the Astros in Houston.
Kids 4 to 14 can run the bases after the Astros-Reds game Sunday, April 21st, courtesy of Rainbow Buns. For tickets, call 6-ASTROS.
Back in the Summit and a 4-2 game. You know, you want to have a play on words. What's going to happen in Phoenix? As you know, the Winnipeg Jets are moving their NHL franchise to Phoenix. They will play in the America West Center. A lot of speculation on what's going to happen with the Phoenix Roadrunners. They say they're going to play next year, but if they do, you could have some fun with the Roadrunners and the Coyotes.
Yeah, the Coyotes of the NHL and the Roadrunners of the IHL. And everyone knows the famous Roadrunner and Coyote on the cartoons. Well, I don't know. Well, do you think the Roadrunners can eat up the Coyote like they do on TV? I don't know. It'll be a tough sell.
Can the Coyotes catch what the Roadrunners have done? They have done a tremendous job. And as far as attendance this year, Phoenix is right where they usually are, right in the middle of the pack. 7,300 they've averaged this year. And when you're an affiliate team like they are with the LA Kings, you got to think that they're a pretty solid franchise. But now you have to question, what are you going to do? Where are you going to play next year? And you know, there's been so many speculations as far as where they're going to play. And from what I can tell from the sources I've talked to, nothing is set yet. And they still plan to play in Phoenix next year.
Well, there's a lot of situations like that all over the IHL. And of course, things do come together in the summertime. And a lot of things have changed, so
you know what?
Keep your eye on the eye.
You know, and the funny thing is with what's been going on with the NFL and all the moves here, is we got a whistle and an offsides call, but with all the franchise moving, especially Cleveland, for example, going back to Baltimore or going to Baltimore there. I've never seen a sports league have so much interest as the IHL does, where you really want to watch the offseason and all the changes that happen, like it does in the IHL, especially during the summer. So many issues are going to be talked about this summer, from salary cap to where certain teams are going to play to expansion. European expansion is still not a dead issue. What's going to happen with Atlanta? Lots of things to watch upon. And tell you what, I'm going to be intent to watch the newspaper, and I'm going to be on the phone quite a bit this summer. See what happens. Puck is controlled by Phoenix. Down to 4:25 left. Aeros with a 2-goal lead, and Gamble makes a long save and rolls it over to Krupke as the puck is cleared to the line, not out. Held in by Cowie, and the Aeros are up ice. Here comes Maurice, but he was attacked by Craig Ferguson, and the Roadrunners are back. Pass is knocked away by Mark Freer. He's tied up by Chapman. Freer in there fighting for the loose puck. Skate to skate in there, and Ferguson will turn it away. Cowie fell, but he was able to get it out at center ice. Krupke rolled it into the Phoenix zone, and the Roadrunners turn it around. We're down to the final 4 minutes. Devin Edgerton pulls up a pass, threw it off the skates of Blomstead. And it's winged ahead for Oleg Sharnarodsky. Cuts in right side. Nice pass. Here's a shot by Redmond right on. Right pad saved by Gamble. Another shot right on. Troy Gamble with the save. Troy Gamble. The difference in this hockey game, especially in the third period. O'Connor cranked one away. It's out at center, but that's a 2-line pass. And play is whistled down.
Troy Gamble has certainly done his job, especially in this third period. A couple of saves again, coming up with 2 in a row. A pad save there, and what makes the second one good is he is able to recover and get back into position after making the first, and he makes a second as well. A lot of times you're asked to make the second save as well as the first, and he's done that tonight.
Face-off will be at the top of the near circle. Lamb against Steve LaRouche. Sticks down, drop of the puck, and here's Jakes. He is watched by LaRouche. LaRouche rolled it near side for Mike Yeo. It's brought back out at center. Now kicked ahead, Carl Valamont. Valamont gently rolled it into the Phoenix zone, and Arno Blomsten goes back for it. It's pushed up the boards, cleared, not out, held in by Houston, but turned away. And out at center ice come the Phoenix Roadrunners. They're riding a 2-game winning streak, but obviously that in jeopardy right now with 3 minutes to go. And Phoenix fighting for their playoff lives. Right now, here's Blomsten. Shoots one down for the Rouge. Trying to clear one out in front. It's chased down by Carl Valamont. Aeros trying to clear it. And here they come out at center ice. Mark Lamb through the neutral zone. Across the line. Ooh, he ran into his own man, Yo. And Arno Blomsten turns it around. Chevalier across the line with LaRouge. Dropped it back to the line. Held in by Blomsten. He was pounded by Townsend. Puck was centered. Went wide of the net. Brent Grieve getting set left side. He is tied up by Mark Lamb. Aeros fighting for it, and here's Gord Krupke. He'll turn and clear it out at center. Can Townsend get there? No. Blomsten makes a nice play. 2:20 to go in regulation, and the Aeros lead it 4-2. Chevalier to Brian Chapman. Tried to roll the puck ahead. Krupke takes it away, but lost it. Cowie, though, misplayed it. He wanted to feed Bobek, and it'll go all the way back into the Phoenix zone. We'll keep an eye on Frederick Beaubien, as the Roadrunners will be thinking about pulling him here pretty quick. It is Mike Bobek. Skates it out at center. Pass up for Cowie. He'll crank one into the Aero zone. He scores! Oh, no! A blue line bomb by Rob Cowie. And all of a sudden, this is a new hockey game. It's 4-3, the Aeros lead it.
Well, I think in Gamble's defense, this one must have hit something on the way through. It's just from halfway in between the blue line and the red line. Actually, it's a clear shot, but it bounces on the ice a couple times and rolls underneath Gamble's glove. And I tell you what, those knuckleballers, they can fool everyone. Last night, Devin Edgerton scored right from that point on in Orlando. And as you saw, if you were joining the game on Prime Sports, that puck bounced about 3 feet in front of Gamble, and he handled it a little too casually as Cowie blasts one, and so Cowie will get his second goal of the year, and it'll be from in between the red and the blue line.
Oh, that goal fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. Oh. Now they've got to hold on here. Chapman right side, now pulling Beaubien's easy. He'll do it in the next 40 seconds. Puck is to Miles O'Connor, clear to the line, not out. Chapman rolled it down, and we've got an injured Roadrunner player. It's Keith Redmond. And this was behind the play. I did not see it. I know that he and O'Connor got tied up.
He's cut pretty good there as,
oh yeah.
I don't know whether he took a stick or what, or maybe he took up against the glass, but.
Boy, I missed this. I hope we've got this, because I sure as heck didn't see it.
Well, they get into the corner, and when they both come away, Redmond was down with a looked like either a bloody nose or a cut. Can't really tell, but he'll skate away as no one really saw anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he get caught by his own stick, or? Last I saw, he and O'Connor went into the corner, but it was a clean hit from Miles O'Connor. But now the referee is coming over. Well, now we're going to get something.
Well, the linesmen are talking to him, and obviously the linesman can call it if it's a major penalty. And so we'll see what happens on this one.
Well, they're working on it right now. I think he's going to pick up 5 minutes. 5-minute major here. Like we said, we never saw it. High sticking coming up as Mike Lego hands out the penalty. It's going to be a 4-minute double minor, so O'Connor, for all intents and purposes, not kicked out of the game. And the only reason I bring that up as noteworthy is I'm not sure where Miles O'Connor stands for game misconducts, and if he had 2, that would be a bonus at least, so he wouldn't get another game misconduct and miss a game.
Well, how that works is you're allowed 3 fighting misconducts and 2 high sticking misconducts, so you're actually allowed 5. So it depends on how it adds up. If Miles had 2 fighting misconducts and then got a high sticking one, he wouldn't get that 3rd one, which would give him a game. I know it's kind of funny. It works kind of weird, and I'm not even sure that's exactly it is, but you do get there are different kinds of game misconducts that count towards your game suspension if you do get 3. So just keep that in mind. But I don't think Miles O'Connor is close to either one of those.
No, I don't think there's really anything to worry about here when you got 2 games remaining after tonight. While we have a second here, and well, here's the call. I don't know why they're moving out. They're moving him out for high sticking, but why would you move him out? If they score 2 goals very quickly, he could return to the game.
Well, I don't understand the call. I don't understand why Miles is so mad, though, because whether it's just a minor penalty or a double minor, it doesn't really matter because he's out of the game regardless with 1:42 remaining.
Yeah, but the thing is now it's a power play for Phoenix, and they'll get a 6-on-4.
Once they pull their goaltender, but that would have been the same thing as if they had just a minor penalty.
No,
so,
I understand that. What I'm saying is I think Miles might be upset that he didn't. He's wondering maybe, like we said, we never saw it. Maybe he's pleading his case that he never got a stick up, that maybe Redmond fell on his own stick. There's a lot of elements. I mean, we don't know. We just didn't see it. It was behind the play. So Phoenix on perhaps the biggest power play of the night. This will be their 7th. And it'll be Craig Ferguson against Mark Lamb. Drop of the puck, and the Roadrunners win the draw. Here's Mike Bobak out at center. 4-3 with a minute and a half to go. Bobak pulled it back out at center.
I think Miles O'Connor got a 10-minute misconduct as well, and
maybe that's
why he was yelling, because that'll cost him some fine money.
Here's a puck that's sent back to the line for Rob Cowie. Roll it along the left side, and it is controlled by Devin Edgerton. Edgerton scooped it down. Here's a chance. Cowie shoots. Campbell save. Rebound pinballs around there. It's sniffed up by Conroy, and he'll bank it right back down the ice. That's a big clear because they were getting ready to pull Beaubien. He has to stay in the game. Now it is Arno Blomstead. He'll bring it up ice. Over to Rob Cowie. Cowie turning in the neutral area. Fired it over to Krupke. Trying to blast one ahead. It's brought in across the line. A minute to go in the game. Beaubien still in the game. LaRouche trying to control behind that. He centered it. Tipped away. Puck is centered. Oh, crossing was Edgerton. A chance. Blomstead lunging for it. And it's back to the line. Held in by Edgerton. Beaubien still in the game. And finally, Krupke will clear it right back down the ice. The Roadrunners never really got good control of it. And I think that's why Robbie Laird held up on Beaubien. Puck was dumped in, but it hit Freer right in the back of the head. Now Yo cutting in. And he's pushed off. 26 seconds to go in the game. Here come the Phoenix Roadrunners. It is Arno Blomstead at center. The pass for LaRouche, cutting in. He'll dump the puck along the boards. It came to the near side, and now Beaubien to the bench. Extra attacker at 6-on-4 for Phoenix. 11 seconds to go. Here's Chevalier trying to center one. It's chipped away. Shot the length of the ice. This puck will go just wide, but that will be the hockey game. And the Houston Aeros will hold on for a 4-3 win. Troy Gamble, he made it interesting. Didn't want to win it the realistic way. He wanted to make things interesting here as that center ice drive got by him, but he is congratulated as he picked up the 16th win of the year. And the Aeros will go on to the win by a score of 4-3. Stay with us, though. We will have more from the summit right after this. Welcome back to the summit. The Aeros hold on to a 4-3 win tonight. And let's take a look at tonight's Texaco star of the game. And it is goaltender Troy Gamble, who I thought was really the difference in the game in that third period.
Well, definitely. That's when you want your goaltender to come up big for you, is in that third period. And he did so. Made a lot of back-to-back saves. And that's what we call the goalie makes a save and then has to make the rebound save as well. And he had to make a few of those and did it in style.
And Troy Gamble is standing by. And Troy, congratulations on your win tonight.
Thanks, guys up there.
Yeah, talk about the hockey. It seemed like, in the first period you saw a little work, and then all of a sudden things turned around in the second period.
Well, I think what happened in the first is that we just played so well. That was likely the best first period that we've had in 2 months. We just played excellent. And then they came out and they played very hard in the second, and they gave me some long shots to get the feel of the puck. And it's always easier when you're a goaltender to get the feel of the puck with some long shots, and then when they do get some tight shots in or breakaways, you're able to stop them.
Gams, you guys, like you said, had your best first period in quite a while, but I tell you what, you guys look really loose out there. Is that just because of the lack of pressure on you guys?
Well, we do look loose, and I think you can look at the third goal. Maybe I was too loose. You get a slap shot from the red line, and I was embarrassed. I really was. I was embarrassed. Those 5 guys on the ice get a minus, and I should get all 5 minuses for that. It took a funny hop, and it beat me, and it almost cost us the game. And I'm just glad that we were able to kill off the last minute and 40.
Well, you know, the Aeros, as we say, with the win tonight, now Dave Tippett is just one win shy of 500. Is that part of the motivation here? I know the guys really like Dave Tippett, and I think that seems to be part of the motivation going down the stretch.
Well, I can only speak personally for myself. I told Tip today my only motivation right now is to play for my family, and second, to get him 500. I think that's an important milestone for Dave Tippett and the organization to say that he played 500, and hopefully they'll bring him back.
Gams, next game you guys have is in Orlando. Obviously a tough game. You guys haven't beat Orlando this year. Do you think there's going to be an extra motivation just to not only to get that win for Dave Tippett, as you said, and for yourself and for the guys, but also just to beat Orlando, something you haven't done all season?
Well, I think that could set a tempo for this organization for next year to go into Orlando and beat them. And I know that they're not going to be happy campers. This Phoenix team beat them 7-0 in the arena. So they're going to be ready for us. We're going to have to prepare very well during the next couple days in practice. And if it's any sign of the last couple practices, we'll be prepared and we'll be ready to take on the Solar Bears.
Troy, at times this year, the defense has been a little maligned, but I look at tonight's game, the defense, you talked about how well they really played, but one guy that seems to really have been playing well, especially in the second half of the season, is Gord Donnelly, and he seems to block everything in his way. Is that nice when you've got a defenseman that was willing to do that for you?
Well, it's great when you can get a defenseman to block shots, and Gord Donnelly, he's likely the best in this league at that. The one thing about tonight that I was a little disgusted myself is I let out a lot of rebounds, and I gave them second shots, and that puts a lot of added pressure on all the D. So they covered me up pretty good tonight, and they deserve all the credit tonight.
Now, do you know who's going to start against Orlando? I mean, you played well. This was your 11th straight start. Are you willing to look for number 12 on Saturday?
Well, I think we had a motto up on the board today, and basically it says, enjoy the game, have fun. And I know Rob wants to get in there and enjoy a game and have fun. So we'll just have to see what Dave does, and whatever he does will be for the best of the team.
Troy, you mentioned fun, and I guess with only 2 games left in the season, obviously got a lot of guys thinking about what they're going to be doing in the summer. Do you have any major plans for yourself and your family?
Well, I think the first thing is just to relax and take in what happened this year. I think personally for myself, I have to look in the mirror and say to myself, Troy, why did you have such a bad start to the year? There had to be reasons, and I'm going to have to look in the mirror and figure out what happened and correct that over the summer. I'm one of the guys looking for a job. I think there's only 6 guys signed in the organization, so we are playing for jobs, we're playing for fun, and hopefully to get back to that 500 record for tips.
Troy, real quickly, and then we'll let you go here. You were talking about how you say, well, I got to look myself in the mirror. And obviously, yeah, the first half of the season wasn't Troy Gamble-like. But maybe do you look at the second half of the season and say, throw out March, Troy Gamble played an outstanding second half of the season?
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of little things that I did this year that I did not do last year. And the one thing that's been a little disturbing, and tonight it happened again, was giving out some rebounds where I can take the puck and freeze it and take pressure off our defense. And I think sometimes our goaltender, our defense has been maligned by the press and by a lot of people. And when they say that about our defense, I have to take some of the blame. And so hopefully I can work on that maybe over the summer and figure out, watch some game tapes. Maybe I'm not in my crouch low enough and correct that part of my game.
Troy, it's always nice to win, and it's always nice having you down to chat with us. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, have a good one, Troy. All right, well, Troy Gamble, you know, if you let's throw out the first half of the season, okay? I mean, everyone would like to forget about the first half, but I think you look at the second half of the season, and yes, okay, the Aeros had a horrible March, and I refuse to put all the blame on the goaltending, especially in March. The team just wasn't having a very strong March. You look at the second half of the season, Troy Gamble had a streak of 10 straight starts, and I think he had something like 13 straight appearances in that span, and then you throw in here tonight's his 11th. Troy Gamble played some outstanding hockey here, I think, when all is said and done in the second half of the season.
Well, you know, and it's funny because last year I did play, so I didn't get to see Troy Gamble all the time. I didn't get to see him, and all I heard were guys talking about, yeah, you should have seen him, you should have seen him. He really carried this team. He really did a great job when he played, and then when he played those kind of games that you talk about, when he made those couple of runs where he had 10 or 11 straight starts and he just played phenomenal. I think I know what the guys were talking about when they talked about how Troy Gamble can play when he is on, and you know, hopefully that'll help him in getting a job next year, because I tell you what, when he has the team playing the way he wants in front of him, and when he's got his confidence, there's not too many goaltenders that are better.
All right, Aeros win it tonight by a score of 4-3. We'll have more from the Summit. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay as the Aeros win tonight at home. A rare thing we haven't seen much this year. A win at home, and a pretty good crowd on hand here. And I think, you know, the boys want to show a little pride for their little pride to the fans. There is a nice effort tonight.
Well, yeah, and the guys. I think if you ask each player individually, they'll tell you, you know, and no player likes to lose. I mean, they wanted to come out, they want to perform well for their fans, and for some reason they just couldn't pull it together at home as much as they would have liked. And that's where you want to win. You want to win in front of your home fans because they're the ones that really give you support. And I know just through talking to a lot of the players that they love the support that they received this year, because I tell you what, when you find a team with the record that the Aeros had and you see the support that they had this year, I know that I speak for all the players and I say this, they really appreciate the support.
Aeros get some timely goals tonight. They got 2 very timely goals tonight from Sylvain Turgeon, and he is standing by. And Sly, congratulations to you for a good game tonight.
Thank you, Adam.
Tonight's game was again kind of a strange one. You guys really, you had a lot of jump in the first period. What was Dave Tippett telling the boys about the first period?
I think the key thing tonight is to keep the momentum of the game, and obviously in the first period we played well, and the second period I don't think we played that well. I think we sat back, we waited until they did something, and we gave them the momentum of the game. I think that a few power plays also helped them, but the key thing for us is coming back into the periods. Well, like in the second period, after the second period, we said we didn't finish our check. We didn't gain the zone when it was time. So those are the things that when we came back in the third period that we had to do. Go ahead.
Oh, Sly, we've got both goals for you, and we'd like you to take a look at your monitor and talk about, first of all, the first goal. What happened there?
All right, certainly. I talked to Yosi before the game. I said, he's got a bad glove in warm-up. Just shoot high. And obviously, you overpower him, and his glove looks like it turned upside down. So when you have a powerful shot, you never know what can happen.
And this is the other one. What happened on this one? This is another good shot.
Oh, what a nice dish from a nice soft pass from Mark Lamb. As you know, he's really good at it. I tried to fake the roof top shelf, and I went really quickly, like between the legs. And Hal score a goal like that tonight, obviously. Those are the two. That's how we score, either glove side or between the legs. And in warm-up, I saw some pucks going that way. So, you know, you got to work at it.
Sly, you mentioned something about the second period earlier on in the interview, and you said, you had trouble in the second period. The Aeros seem to have trouble in the second period quite often this year. Do you know why that is? Just maybe a good first period and then kind of a let-up? What do you think might have been the problem there?
Well, I think we got to be focused. As we know this year, the things that had happened along the way is we had the lead at the beginning of the first period, and then after the second period, we made some mistake down low in our zone. And I'm sure there'll be a few things fixed up along the summer, and obviously next year we'll try to change a few things on this hockey team. But obviously the thing is we got to keep the momentum during the whole game, and we didn't do that this year. So I think we're going to have to be it's going to be different next year.
Sly, real quickly, what do you look at for this summer? What do you want to accomplish and think about for next year? Where will Sylvain Turgeon be?
I have no idea. As a matter of fact, I haven't talked to my agent yet. In the end of the season, we'll sit together and look what the possibilities are, and from there we'll make a decision. I would like to come back here. This is a nice area, and obviously it wasn't as easy a year because we lost, and obviously we want to have a winning team. But I got 26 goals. I think I can really jump my goals for in my situation for next year. It was an adaptation this year for me, playing in NHL for 13 years, coming in the IHL. It was hard to swallow a little bit, but obviously I turned around, made things positive, and started to put some goals in the net, then give a little bit more offensively to this team.
Sly, thank you so much for stopping by, and we wish you the best of luck throughout the rest of the season and whatever you decide to do for next year.
All right, thank you, Adam and Mike.
All right, that's Sylvain Turgeon with 2 goals tonight as the Aeros win by a score of 4-3. And let's take a look at tonight's Dodge final stats. The Aeros outshot tonight 36-28. The Roadrunners 1 of 7 on the power play, but the Aeros, do not forget, also had a shorthanded goal. And let's see here, 35 faceoffs for the Phoenix Roadrunners, 29 for the Aeros. 4 penalties for 8 minutes. A very disciplined game tonight by the Roadrunners. The Aeros 9 penalties for 28 minutes. You know, Greener, I thought Sylvain made a pretty good comment. We were looking at Frédéric Beaubien, and I guess maybe they noticed he's got pretty weak glove hand, because that's how Mike Yeo beat him early in the start of the hockey game also.
Yeah, and it's funny you mention that, because a lot of times a coach will sit in the stands and watch the opposition's warm up, and they'll watch players, they'll watch especially goaltenders, and it's great to be able to pick up on something like that and then work on it during the game and have it work for you. So I guess they exposed the weakness, and they went after it, and they were rewarded for it.
All right, let's take a look at our Gatorade play of the game. It's brought to you by Gatorade. Life's a sport. Drink it up.
Well, I tell you what, Troy Gamble was sharp all game, and he had to be making some great saves. And it's one of those back-to-back saves we talked about so much. He makes the initial save, comes back, makes the rebound save, and that's what you want out of your goaltenders, and he did that tonight.
Troy Gamble was terrific, and like Troy was talking about, a little embarrassed about that center ice shot, but you know what? Yeah, those happen.
Those are tough, and I tell you what, people laugh at those, and they say, you know, how'd he let that in? But you realize, what a baseball's like when it's coming at you, curving. Well, a puck sometimes is worse than that, especially when it's bouncing down the ice. You don't know how it's going to go, and I'm sure Troy doesn't like to let those kind of goals in, but those are kind of tricky sometimes when they come in at you like that.
All right, the Aeros win it by a score of 4-3, and we will have final thoughts right after this. A packed Summit still in right now. No, just kidding, but they've all emptied out. They're on their way home.
They're just all wearing red.
That's right. It's red night at the Summit, and the Aeros win it by a score of 4-3. A really good crowd on hand for a Wednesday night, and I know that they'll be really excited for the season finale on Sunday when the Aeros take on the Detroit Vipers. So, what did tonight's game, did it have any impact on the standings? Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference, and we'll show you that as far as the Northern Division, this game really doesn't affect anything. Cincinnati, 49-21-9 with 107 points, leading the Northern Division. As far as the Aeros are concerned in the Central, their win tonight, they again are eliminated from playoff contention, and their win doesn't really do anything for them in the Central Division. As there you can see, 64 points tonight. They're 7 back of Atlanta, but with, of course, only 2 games remaining. What did Phoenix, their win, do for them? Well, in the Midwestern Division of the Western Conference, the Minnesota Moose are not going to make the playoffs. Peoria now still within grasp of Phoenix with 79 points. Kansas City has 81 points, Chicago with 82, and we'll go to that Southwest Division right now in the Western Conference. Phoenix, again, with 79 points. They're just 2 up on the Los Angeles Ice Dogs, and I don't think anybody is going to catch Las Vegas for the best record in the IHL. Las Vegas is the cream of the crop, and you have to look at them as the favorites going into the Turner Cup playoffs.
Oh, definitely, and it's always fun to watch those teams go through the playoffs, because I tell you what, I guess one of the exciting things that you see in the playoffs are things called upsets, and
yes.
I don't know if you're going to see an upset on Utah, Las Vegas, or Cincinnati early, but you know what? One of those teams might take a plunge in the playoffs early, and you never know what can happen. So it's going to be exciting to watch the playoffs all the way through.
I want to let our radio listeners know we were planning on having a post-game show, but we've had a change of scheduling, so there will not be a call-in show tonight. So we're sorry about that, but we hope we got you on your ride home. For those of you that were coming to the game, we know a lot of the fans like to call in, and for anyone that joined us tonight, either here at the Summit or at home, they were entertained to an outstanding hockey game. And the Aeros need to win both games. They need to win Saturday against Orlando, and they need to win Sunday against the Detroit Vipers if they want to give Dave Tippett a winning record, because, or I should say a 500 record, because even if they take it to 500 with a win Saturday, a loss here against Detroit wouldn't give them the 500 record. So hopefully they can do it with 2 more wins down the stretch. Greener, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, our thanks to everyone who helped us out tonight. The Aeros' next game, as we mentioned, Saturday night against the Orlando Solar Bears. That will be heard only on KPRC Radio. Next Prime Sports telecast, it'll be the season finale, 6 o'clock, when the Aeros take on the Detroit Vipers right here from the Summit. Once again, tonight's final score, Houston Aeros 4 and the Phoenix Roadrunners 3. For Mike Relay, this is Adam Gordon saying good night from the Summit.